Katapran. His life and soul is Srila Prabhupada. So it just shows that, the qualities that are for the poet being poetic. A Vaishnava is poetic, and it shows over here. And there was a room conversation in Vrindavan, 1977, that was amongst Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and Bhavananda Prabhu. So it was about book selling books, and Tamal Krishna, so I'm just reading the extract. Tamal Krishna, about book sales, and sells 12 to 15,000 rupees a month. It is where your books coming here. It is like perfect fulfillment of your books. They are so much impressed with the subject matter that they want to see this Vrindavan. Especially they have read Krishna book. To them, Vrindavan is like a magical world. Prabhupada, Hindi book is selling nice. Tamal Krishna, he said so. Prabhupada, 400, 500, no joke. Tamal Krishna, no joke. That Bengali back to Godhead is very good. I also. This one has come out very nice. The layout and everything, it is very good. Prabhupada, he writes nice. Tamal Krishna. Bhakti Charu, Prabhupada, no, who has written? Tamal Krishna. Who wrote those articles? Bhavananda. Bhakti Charu and Bhakti Charu Bhavana. Tamal Krishna. Sarva Bhavana and Bhakti Charu. Bhakti Charu is very literary and poetic type. So this is back in 1977. So now we have a glimpse of when we fast forward into 2020. So when Guru Maharaj was that Guru Maharaj intended to make. Next morning after breakfast, Guru Maharaj started to write, and by evening the introductory passages, the draft of the introductory passages were ready, and Guru Maharaj read it out to the disciples who had come for the darshan. And luckily I had recorded it. It was very soft, but I could make out, so I did the transcript of that. So it's very nice. Setting the scene for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So Krishna dancing with gopis. Camera gradually zooms into center where Krishna is dancing with Radha. So Guru Maharaj's father was a film producer. So Guru Maharaj can actually see the camera is focusing in and all that. So, and Guru Maharaj produced the Abhicharan series as well. So all of a sudden Radha leaves. Krishna continues to dance with other gopis. Suddenly he notices Radha is not there. He looks around and leaves the rasa dance. All the Krishnas dancing with gopis merge into one Krishna. Krishna finds Radha. Both walk together and find a solitude place to sit down. Radha, you look as if you are lost in some thoughts. Krishna, you see, I revealed my Vraja Leela on the earth planet recently, giving everyone a chance to witness the loving exchange I had in Vraja with my most intimate devotees. In that loving relationship, they forget I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead and treat me as if I am an ordinary human being, son of a cowherd man. It is due to the intense love for me that they don't care I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. Their attitude is they do not care if I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. It does not matter. All we are concerned about is we cannot live without you, without loving you. Wherever you are, whatever you are the only object of our love. Besides, we do not know anyone. People generally worship me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as long as they have that awareness, they cannot treat me as a friend or their son or their lover, and unless they develop that intense unconditional love for me, they will not be able to recognize the glory of Vrindavan and be able to enter into Vrindavan. Radha, just by seeing your Vraja Leela and hearing your pastimes there, they will be qualified to enter into Vraja, won't they? Krishna, no. They will think that Vraja Leela is one of my pastimes, enacted by one of my incarnations. They will not recognize that I in Vraja is not an incarnation, but the source of all incarnations, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not recognizing me, they will worship me in the mood of awe and reverence. By achieving perfection in that mood, they will go to Vaikuntha and not be able to come here to Vrindavan, to the region of your love. Radha, so how will you solve this problem? Krishna, I will descend as a devotee. Radha, as a devotee, how will that be possible? How can you become your own devotee? Krishna, I'll assume your mood, Radhe, the highest mode of devotion. In my Shyam Sundar form will be covered with your golden complexion. I'll become a perfect devotee of myself, just like you, and nobody will be able to recognize me. Krishna stands up and starts to dance, leading Radharani into the dance, and in that dance, Krishna embraces Radha and they become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Bharat Shresh Prabhu. That was a wonderful offering. Now see what His Holiness Indradum Swami Maharaj says about Guru Maharaj. Devotees of the Lord are special because just by their very presence they remind us of Krishna. But the very, very special nature of Bhakti Charu Maharaj was that by his presence he always reminds us of Srila Prabhupada. He knew the Shastra and he knew how to present it in a pleasing way. He had an advantage over many of us sannyasis that he was a Bengali and he could read the scripture, understand it with his heart, and he could chant the Bengali verses without embarrassment like I do. Such a perfect representative of our culture. He was a brilliant speaker and I nourished my Bhakti Lata Creeper by hearing from him on regular basis. So just a little announcement, we have a small gift table on the back. So we have little Guru Maharaj's 4 books and we have an audio recorder in which all Guru Maharaj's lectures are there, I think more than 1,000, and all the bhajans and kirtans are stored in that audio tape. If whoever wants to have them, they can give order to Geetamrita Mataji. She will take the order and that's how we can bring them here and give it to you. So now I would like to call upon Prem Sagar Prabhu.
Because President Prabhu is going to speak in Bengal, so I have asked Sajaran to translate line by line. So
Hare Krishna.
Express all its emotions.
Hare Krishna. So actually, I has good relation with Maharaj. So whenever I saw and I see the Maharaj, he speak in Bangla. So that's why I'd like to speak in Bangla. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj affair in Bangladesh. Sorry, Maharaj বাংলাদেশে জন্মগ্রহণ করেছেন 17 সেপ্টেম্বর 1945 সালে।
Maharaj was born in Bangladesh in 17 September 1945.
So when Maharaj যখন জন্মগ্রহণ করলেন তো উনি আমাদের মতো সাধারণ মানুষের মতো জন্মগ্রহণ করেননি, উনি এক অদ্ভুত রূপ নিয়ে জন্মগ্রহণ করেছেন। সেটা হলো কি, যেমন ব্রাহ্মণের পয়তা থাকে, জন্মগ্রহণের পরে যখন পয়তাগুলো ওরকম থাকে, উনি নারীগুলো যে জন্ম নারীগুলো পয়তার মতো নিয়ে জন্মগ্রহণ করলেন। তখন ওনার ঠাকুরমা বলেন, আমার ঘরে এক বিশেষ মহান ব্যক্তির আবির্ভাব হয়েছেন।
So when Maharaj was born, actually he was not born like an ordinary person like us. Like say some specific, very highly what I should say, like personalities was born with some sign that they are great personalities. So Maharaj was born with all the umbilical cord was a Brahman thread around his body, and his grandma said that he must be someone very special, just like birth in our family. Yeah.
তারপরে মহারাজ ওনার বাবার কাছে কলকাতা আসলেন, ওখানে পড়াশোনা করলেন। কিছুদিন পরে ওনার মা মারা যান, তারপর উনি জেঠিমার কাছে চলে যান, তখন ওখানে গিয়ে উনি পড়াশোনা শুরু করেন।
When he was a child, he came to Calcutta moved from Bangladesh, and then soon after his mother passed away, and then he went to his auntie in Tripura, and he studied there with them.
তারপরে যখন মহারাজ ত্রিপুরাতে উচ্চশিক্ষা লাভ করলেন, উনি চিন্তা করলেন আমি এখন বিমানের পাইলট হব, সেজন্য উনি আরো শিক্ষা লাভ করার জন্য জার্মানিতে চলে গেলেন।
After finishing his school, he decided to become a pilot, and then he went to Germany actually to have his higher education.
উনি যখন জার্মানি গেলেন, ওখানে উচ্চশিক্ষা লাভ করলেন, তারপর ওনার মনের মধ্যে চিন্তা আসলো আমি এসব কিসের জন্য করলাম, আমাকে একজন সাধু হতে হবে, ওই জন্য উনি ভারতে আসলেন।
After finishing his study in Germany, he decided, he was thinking actually that all the education I did is actually no use. He started looking inside, and to find out the spiritual understanding, he decided to come back to India.
তারপর উনি হিমালয় চলে গেলেন, হিমালয়ে অনেক সাধুদের সাথে দেখা করলেন, কিন্তু ওনার কোনো সাধুর পছন্দ হলো না, কারণ কি সব সাধুরা দেখলেন কেউ মদ খায়, কেউ গাঁজা খায়, এসব দেখে ওনার পছন্দ হলো না। তারপর উনি হাঁটতে হাঁটতে ফিরে এলাহাবাদে চলে গেলেন।
After he came back to India, he decided to go to Himalayas, and in there he met many personalities, sadhus. But seeing them how they do the worship or having intoxication, depend on the intoxication, so he decided to leave the Himalayas, and he came to Allahabad. Sorry.
এলাহাবাদ থেকে উনি আবার বেনারসে গেলেন। বেনারসে ওখানে এক সাধুর সাথে দেখা হলো। ওখানে এক সাধু ওনাকে আনন্দময়ী মাতার কাছে নিয়ে গেলেন, আর উনি মাতাজি ছিলেন অনেক শক্তি সম্পন্ন, ওনার একজন শিষ্য ছিলেন, সন্ন্যাসী শিষ্য। উনি মাতাজির কাছে নিয়ে গেলেন, মাতাজি দেখে বলেন ইনি তো আমার আশ্রমের জন্য নয়, ইনার পথ তো আরো অনেক উপরে, উনি এখানে থাকবেন না।
In Allahabad, he met a spiritual identity named Anandamoyi Mataji. When her disciple, Sanna's disciple, took Guru Maharaj to her, by looking at Guru Maharaj, she said that this personality shouldn't be my disciple. His place should be much higher than what we do.
তারপরে উনি ওখানে আনন্দময়ী মাতা ওনাকে আশীর্বাদ দিলেন কি তুমি তোমার যেখানে আশ্রম হবে, তুমি যার কাছে দীক্ষা নেবে, তারপর তুমি দীক্ষা নেওয়ার পরে যার কাছে তুমি আত্মসমর্পণ করবে, আত্মসমর্পণ করার পরে সারা জগৎ তোমার পায়ের নিচে আসবে।
So Anandamayi Mataji actually blessed Guru Maharaj, that saying that wherever you will do whoever you take the shelter from, he will be a great personality, and after your initiation, you will build a temple, and all the whole world will be coming under your feet.
তারপর আমি কলকাতায় চলে আসলাম। কলকাতায় এসে সার্বভৌম প্রভু ওনার একজন বন্ধু ছিলেন, সার্বভৌম প্রভুর সাথে দেখা করলেন কলকাতায় মন্দিরের কাছে। তখন সার্বভৌম প্রভুকে দেখে মনে ভাবলাম আরে তুমি কি কবে থেকে সন্ন্যাসী সাধু হয়ে গেলে, তুমি ঈশ্বরের ভক্ত হয়ে গেছো, আমি তো কোনো বিশ্বাস করতে পারিনি।
So thereafter he came to Calcutta. In Calcutta he met one of his friends. Sarvabhauma. Yeah. So when his friend saw him, Guru Maharaj looks like a sannyasi. I mean, he was a devotee sadhu. So he was saying, since when you became a sadhu? I never realized that you joined in ISKCON and became a sadhu already.
সার্বভৌম প্রভু ওনাকে ইসকন মন্দিরে নিয়ে গেলেন। তখন মহারাজের খুব ভালো লাগলো ইসকন মন্দির, আর প্রভুপাদের ফটো দেখলাম, প্রভুপাদ সিংহাসনে বসে আছেন আর মহারাজের দিকে তাকিয়ে হাসতেছেন, এমন মনে হলো। তখন মহারাজ মনে মনে স্থির করলেন ইনি আমার প্রকৃত গুরু হবেন। তারপর মহারাজকে প্রভুপাদকে দেখে প্রণাম করলেন। তারপর উনি গীতা বুক খোঁজ করছিলেন, কিন্তু গীতা বই না পেয়ে উনি ভক্তি রসামৃত সিন্ধু পেলেন। ভক্তি রসামৃত সিন্ধু সারা রাত জেগে উনি পড়ছিলেন।
I think I made a mistake before. So, Sarvabhauma Prabhu, who actually took Guru Maharaj first time in the ISKCON temple. So, when he in Calcutta ISKCON temple. So, when he took Guru Maharaj to ISKCON temple, Guru Maharaj looked at Srila Prabhupada and find out that Srila Prabhupada was looking at him and smiling. And by this, he actually thought that Srila Prabhupada will be his spiritual master. And then, he decided to stay there. Oh yeah, he was looking for the Bhagavad Gita there, but he couldn't find the Bhagavad Gita. There was no copy left. So the devotee gave him the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar of devotion. Oh yeah, and then he took the book at home, and then overnight he finished his study, keep on studying. He didn't stop, and I think by morning he finished the book. Yeah.
তারপরে তিনি সার্বভৌম প্রভুর সাথে কথা বললেন, খুব ভালো লাগলো। তারপর উনি ডিসাইড করলেন আমি মায়াপুর ধামে যাব। 1966 সালের শেষের দিকে উনি মায়াপুরে গেলেন।
So after joining in Mayapur, he decided in Calcutta temple, he decided to go to Mayapur in 1966. Yeah.
তারপর মায়াপুরে যখন উনি গেলেন, ভক্তরা খুব ওনাকে আদর করলেন, খুব ভালোবাসলেন। আর ভক্তরা ওনাকে রিকোয়েস্ট করলেন তুমি মায়াপুর মন্দিরে থেকে দাও। মহারাজ বললেন আচ্ছা আমি চিন্তা করব, আমার কিছু আমি ডিসাইড করতে পারছি না। তারপর দিন কি করলেন, মহারাজ বাইরে এসে পুরনো কাপড় চোপড় সব কিছু গঙ্গাতে ফেলে দিয়ে মাথা মুন্ডন করে মন্দিরে চলে আসলেন। তখন ভক্তরা খুব খুশি হলেন দেখে।
So when he went to Mayapur, all the devotees was very happy to see him because I think he's one of the few Bengalis back then. And then next, everyone was requesting him to stay in Mayapur temple, not living there. So next day, what Guru Maharaj did is he straight went to the Ganga, in the bank of the Ganga. He gave up all his old dresses, he shaved his head, and he came back to the temple. By seeing this, that dedication, everyone was very pleased.
তারপরে ওখানে যখন মায়াপুরে ফুল টাইম মন্দিরে জয়েন করলেন, আর ওখানে তখন বেশি বাঙালি ভক্ত ছিল না। আর যারা বাঙালি ভক্ত ছিল তারা অত বেশি ইংরেজি বলতে পারতো না, তার জন্য মহারাজকে সবাই খুব ভালোবাসতো।
So in Mayapur, there was many Bengalis people, not many Bengalis people was there, especially at Maharaj level. So when Guru Maharaj joined there, everyone find him very, I would say very close, I should say, yeah. And then everyone loved him because he was one of the few Bengalis who was there.
তারপর মহারাজ কিছুদিন ওখানে মন্দিরে সেবা করার পরে সবাই বললো জানো আমার শরীরে কত জোর আছে, কত শক্তি আছে, আমি সব ভগবানের সেবাতে লাগাবো। তখন যে কৃষ্ণের ইনচার্জ সে বলে ঠিক আছে তোমার গায়ে যখন শক্তি আছে তুমি সব জ্বালানি কাঠগুলো কিচেনে নিয়ে আসো।
So one day Guru Maharaj made a statement saying that he got lots of strength to do all the devotional service, all the services in the temple. So the person who was in charge of the kitchen, he said, oh indeed, so if you have a lots of strength, then why don't you come in the kitchen and bring all the wood that we use for the cook.
তারপরে এখন আমরা মহারাজের কাছে এটা শিখতে পারি কি মহারাজ কতটা নিজেকে আত্মসমর্পণ করেছেন শিল প্রভুপাদের সেবায়, আর উনি কতটা কতটা সহিষ্ণু সেটা আমরা এখন শিখতে পারবো মহারাজের কাছ থেকে। উনি কি করলেন, যখন প্রভু বললেন কাঠগুলো সব রান্না করে নিয়ে আসতে, উনি সব কাঠ রান্না করে নিয়ে আসলেন। এখন রান্নাঘর কোনো মানুষ ঢুকার রাস্তা নেই, এমন ভাবে কাঠ সাজিয়েছেন। তখন প্রভুটা খুব রেগে গেলেন, তুমি কি করলে সব কাঠ দিয়ে কিচেনটা ভর্তি করে আমরা রান্না করবো কি করে? তখন মহারাজ বললেন ঠিক আছে আমার ভুল হয়ে গেছে, আমি এখন কিছু কাঠ বাইরে করে নিয়ে আসবো।
So Guru Maharaj, after the instruction from the kitchen head, bring all the woods, wood logs for the cooking. So what he did is he bring all of them in the kitchen. Now the kitchen doesn't have any space to go anyone inside. So and the kitchener was upset, saying, "Why did you bring everything?" And then Guru Maharaj was very humble, and then he said, "Okay, it's my mistake. So let me get some of them out again." So this is how we can understand how humble and how Trinadu Vishwanichana he is.
তারপরে মহারাজ এভাবে ওখানে সেবা করলেন। সেবা করার পরে কিছুদিন পরে মহারাজকে বললেন ঠিক আছে তুমি এখন চালের বস্তা আছে বড় বড় 1 মণ 2 মণের বস্তাগুলো সব কিচেনে নিয়ে আসো। তাই মহারাজ এমন ভাবে টান দিলেন, চাল এক হাতে টান দিয়ে চালের বস্তা ছিঁড়ে গেছে, কিন্তু তাও সব চাল রান্না করে নিয়ে আসলেন।
So after a few days, the kitchen incharge asked him to get all the big the rice bag. Usually we have around 60 or 80 kilo, but there's a big one here. So he asked Guru Maharaj to bring all those things. So Guru Maharaj was very strong, so he was pulling them with the hand, and he pulled such a way that the bag, you tear the bag, and then all the rice would move around all the side.
এবারে কিছুদিন সেবা করার পরে ভবানন্দ মহারাজ ছিলেন ওখানে প্রভুপাদের মেন সেক্রেটারি, মেন ইনচার্জ প্রভুপাদের সেবার দায়িত্বের। তখন ভবানন্দ প্রভু মহারাজ ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজকে বললেন, তখন মহারাজের নাম ছিল কি কিশোর। বলে কিশোর প্রভুপাদ এখন এলাহাবাদে আসবেন, প্রয়াগ মেলা ওখানে, তো আমরা চলো ওখানে যাব। তারপরে মহারাজের হাতে অনেক বাংলার সবজিগুলো, বাঙালি সবজিগুলো সব নিয়ে ব্যাগের মধ্যে ভরে মহারাজের মাথায় তুলে দিলেন, আর মহারাজ মাথায় করে নিয়ে রেল স্টেশনে চলে গেলেন।
So in Mayapur, Guru Maharaj met Bhavananda Maharaj back then. And then one day Bhavananda Maharaj says that his name was Kishore before he got the initiated name Bhakti Charu. So he said, Kishore, let's go to Allahabad. Prabhupada will be there. So what he did is he collected all the Bengali vegetables Prabhupada used to be fond of. And then he made them in a basket and get the basket on the Guru Maharaj's head to carry. So he was carrying them to the station.
তারপরে দুইজনে মহারাজ চলে গেলেন এলাহাবাদে, ওখানে প্রভুপাদের সাথে দেখা করবেন। দুর্ভাগ্যবশত ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজের দর্শন হলো না প্রভুপাদের, কারণ ওখানে প্রভুপাদের অনেক সিকিউরিটি থাকে, সবাইকে ঢুকতে দেওয়া হয় না। ভবানন্দ মহারাজ আগে চলে গেলেন, প্রভুপাদ তখন ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজ পেছনে রয়ে গেলেন, আর উনি প্রভুপাদের দর্শন পেলেন না।
So when Guru Maharaj and Bhavananda Maharaj went to the Allahabad, it was a Kumbh Mela in one of the tent that Prabhupada was staying. So Bhavananda, because he was very highly positioned at that time, so he could easily get into the Prabhupada tent. But Guru Maharaj was a bit late, was behind, but he was not allowed to get inside, so he was left behind.
তারপরে দিন মহারাজ ওখানে প্রভুপাদের সেমিনারে অ্যাটেন্ড করেন, ক্লাসে। ওখানে প্রভুপাদ ক্লাস দিচ্ছেন কি সেমিনার ক্লাস দেওয়ার পরে একটা বাঙালি ভক্ত প্রভুপাদকে প্রশ্ন করলেন, প্রভুপাদ আপনি সারা বিশ্বে প্রচার করছেন, নতুন নতুন মন্দির বানাচ্ছেন, কেন আপনি ভারতে অনেকগুলো মন্দির পুরানো ভেঙে আছে, নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, ওগুলো ঠিক করছেন না?
So in Allahabad, in the Kumbh Mela, so someone asked Prabhupada, you are making so many new temples, but see in India there are already so many temples and some are broken, so why don't you fix them rather than building a new temple?
তখন প্রভুপাদ হাসলেন, ওই ভক্তরা দিকে তাকিয়ে বলেন, খুব ভালো প্রশ্ন তুমি করেছো, তোমার পাশে যে ভদ্র মহিলাটা কে? তখন ওই ভদ্রলোকটা বলেন, উনি আমার নববিবাহিত স্ত্রী।
So Prabhupada, looking at the person who actually Bengali, who asked that question, and Prabhupada said, yes, that's a very good, valid question. Now tell me who is sitting next to you. So the guy said, that person said, he's my wife.
তখন প্রভুপাদ ওনাকে বললেন, তুমি আমার কেন বিয়ে করতে, দেখো দেশে কতগুলো অনাথ বাচ্চারা পড়ে আছে, তুমি আবার নতুন বিয়ে করবে, আবার সন্তান জন্ম দেবে, ওদেরকে মানুষ করবে, এত তুমি কেন মাথা ব্যথা নিচ্ছ? তুমি রাস্তাতে অনাথ বাচ্চাগুলো আছে, ওগুলো তুলে কেন তুমি মানুষ করছো না?
Then Prabhupada said, why did you marry? The guy said, of course you want to beget children. Then Prabhupada said, there are so many orphans in the street. Why you need to marry again to get new children? Why don't you get someone from the street and build and take care of them?
তখন এইসব প্রশ্ন করার পরে প্রভুপাদ বলেন, দেখো অন্যের মন্দিরকে নিজের মতো প্রতিষ্ঠিত করার জন্য অনেক সময় দিতে হয়, আর ওটা সবার পক্ষে সম্ভব না। আর নিজের সন্তানকে যেভাবে তুমি নিজের মতো করে মানুষ করতে পারবে, অন্যের সন্তানকে তুমি ওইভাবে অতভাবে মানুষ করতে পারবে না।
So Prabhupada said that the temple already built, which is from different sampradaya or whatever, it's very difficult to convert them into what philosophy we follow, and then to run the way we wanted to follow. So the same way, getting a children from street or orphan is difficult to affectionately grow them because they are not yours. So when you have your own children, you can grow them nicely. Yeah.
এইসব প্রশ্ন উত্তর প্রভুপাদ মহারাজের কাছে খুব ভালো লাগলেন। তখন মহারাজ নিজে ভাবলাম, আমি প্রভুপাদের সাথে কখন পার্সোনালি দেখা করব। তো এভাবে তারপরে যখন মহারাজ প্রভুপাদের সাথে দেখা করবো, প্রথমবার যখন দেখা হলো, তখন মহারাজকে প্রভুপাদ ডাকলেন, তুমি আসো আমার কাছে বসো, আর তুমি আজ থেকে আমার যত গ্রন্থ আছে বাংলাতে তুমি ওটাকে বাংলা ভাষায় রূপান্তরিত করবে, এইভাবে করে তুমি ভগবানের ধামে চলে যাবে।
So Guru Maharaj was thinking how he can meet Prabhupada, and finally when he got the opportunity to meet Prabhupada, after seeing him first time, he gave the instruction saying that, look, you are from Bengal and you can translate all my books into Bengali. And this is the first instruction Guru Maharaj have, and Prabhupada also said that if you translate all the books in Bengali, then with the service you can go back to Godhead.
তারপরে মহারাজের খুব ভালো লাগলো। মহারাজ প্রভাত যদি আপনার কৃপা হয়, আমি আপনার যত ইংরেজি গ্রন্থ আছে সবকিছু আমি বাংলা রচনা করব।
So Guru Maharaj said to Prabhupada, yes Prabhupada, give me your mercy, and with your mercy I will translate all the books, English book that you have written into Bengali.
আজকে আমরা যত প্রবাদের বাংলা গ্রন্থ আমরা অধ্যয়ন করি একমাত্র ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজের কৃপাতে আমরা গ্রন্থগুলো বাংলাতে পেয়েছি।
So today, we all the people from Bengal who read and write in Bengali, we are so blessed, we are so thankful to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj that because of him we can read all those secret books and we can understand them now.
মহারাজ প্রথম দীক্ষিত হলেন প্রভুপাদের কাছে 1977 সালে গৌর পূর্ণিমার সময় মায়াপুরে।
Srila Prabhupada gave him the first initiation in 1977, first and second together in 1977 during the Gaur Purnima.
তারপরে 1977 সালে স্নান যাত্রার সময় সেম একই বছরে 3 মাসের মধ্যে তিনি সন্ন্যাস দীক্ষা লাভ করেন কৃষ্ণ বলরাম মন্দিরে বৃন্দাবনে।
So same year, same year, after 3 months from the first and second initiation, Prabhupada actually gave him the sannyas initiation in Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan.
তো প্রভুপাদের রেকর্ডে আজ পর্যন্ত কোন ভক্ত 3 মাসের মধ্যে ব্রাহ্মণ দীক্ষা, হরিনাম দীক্ষা, সন্ন্যাস দীক্ষা কেউ পাননি। আর কোন প্রভুপাদের শিষ্যের সন্ন্যাসী শিষ্যের আগে ভক্তি যোগ করা হয়নি, একমাত্র ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজের নামের আগে ভক্তি যোগ করা হয়েছে।
He's the only disciple of Srila Prabhupada who have got all 3 initiation in 3 months, within 3 months, and he's the first one who have given the title Bhakti.
তো শ্রীল প্রভুপাদ ভক্তি চারু সম্বন্ধে এক্সপ্লেন এভাবে বর্ণনা করেছেন কি ভক্তি চারু স্বামীর মানে হচ্ছে যিনি তার ভক্তির দ্বারা তার সমস্ত ইন্দ্রিয়কে কন্ট্রোল করে ভগবানের সেবা করবেন।
So Srila Prabhupada has given the definition of the name of Guru Maharaj that he is such a personality who, with his devotion, he will control all the senses of him.
দীক্ষার আগে থেকে মহারাজ প্রভুপাদের পার্সোনাল রান্না করতেন, নিজস্ব রান্না করতেন। তারপরে যখন যেদিন সন্ন্যাস দীক্ষা হলো বৃন্দাবনে, সেদিন একটা মাতা প্রভুপাদের কিচেনে রান্না করলেন প্রভুপাদের জন্য, আর ভক্তিচারু স্বামী মহারাজ ওই প্রসাদ সার্ভ করছিলেন প্রভুপাদকে। তখন প্রভুপাদ জিজ্ঞেস করলেন মহারাজকে, এটা কে রান্না করলেন?
So on the day he was taking sannyas initiation, one of the Mataji cooked for Srila Prabhupada in the kitchen. So when Guru Maharaj bring the bhoga to Srila Prabhupada to honor the prasadam, Prabhupada actually after taking the prasadam, Prabhupada asked, who cooked the prasadam today?
তারপরে যখন মহারাজ বললেন একটা মাতাজি রান্না করলেন, তখন প্রভুপাদ খুব অসন্তুষ্ট হলেন। তখন তামল কৃষ্ণ মহারাজকে সাথে সাথে ডাকলেন, তামল কৃষ্ণ, আজ থেকে কোনো মাতা যাতে আমাদের রান্না করে না যায়।
Prabhupada was not happy with the cooking, and he called Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and saying that, look, from today I don't want any Matajis to come into the kitchen and cook for me.
তো কতটা প্রভুপাদ ভক্তিচারু স্বামী মহারাজকে নিজে মনে করে গড়ে তুলছিলেন। তারপরে উনি প্রভুপাদের নিজস্ব রান্না করতেন, নিজস্ব সার্ভেন্ট, নিজস্ব সবকিছু দেখাশোনা করতেন। একদিন প্রভুপাদ ভক্তিচারু স্বামী মহারাজকে বললেন কি আমার জন্য রান্না করো।
So Guru Maharaj was the personal secretary of Srila Prabhupada, so he used to do everything for him. So one day Srila Prabhupada actually asked Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj that please you cook for me today.
তো প্রভুপাদ বললেন, তুমি কি বাটি চচ্চড়ি রান্না করতে পারো? তখন মহারাজ বললেন, না আমি পারি না। তখন প্রভুপাদ নিজের হাতে ওনাকে বাটি চচ্চড়ি রান্না করতে শেখালেন।
So Srila Prabhupada asked him, do you know how to cook Bhakti Charu? It's one of the famous food in Bengali. Now, then Guru Maharaj said, no, I don't know how to do it, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada actually cooked in front of him and showed him how to do it.
তারপরে প্রভুপাদ বাটি চচ্চড়ির জন্য ভালো করে বেশি করে ঘি ঢাললেন, লঙ্কা ঢাললেন, পটল ঢাললেন। তখন মহারাজ তাকিয়েছে, এত লঙ্কা এত ঘি। তারপরে যেভাবে প্রভুপাদ শিখাচ্ছেন ওভাবে শিখলেন, তারপরে দিন রান্না করতে বললেন।
So Prabhupada actually put lots of ghee and chili, the dry chili, and then lots of chili and lots of ghee with potol. And so Guru Maharaj was bit worried that Srila Prabhupada at that age was having such lots of chili and ghee. But he didn't say anything, so he just learned how to do it, and Prabhupada asked him to cook next day.
পরের দিন প্রভুপাদ আবার ওনাকে বললেন, তুমি আমাদের বাটি চচ্চড়ি রান্না করো। তারপর বাটি চচ্চড়ি রান্না করতে গিয়ে মহারাজ একটু তেল আর লঙ্কা কম দিলেন, কারণ প্রভুপাদের পেট তখন ভালো ছিল না। তখন মহারাজকে প্রসাদ করার পর মহারাজ প্রভাত খুব রেগে গেলেন, তোমাকে আমি এই শিখালাম এতদিন ধরে বাটি চর্চা কিভাবে রান্না, তুমি তেল দিলে না লঙ্কা দিলে না।
So next day when Guru Maharaj cooked for Srila Prabhupada, he was thinking that Srila Prabhupada's health was not good. So he didn't put lots of chili and lots of ghee. And when he bring the food preparation to Srila Prabhupada didn't like it. And he was really angry upon him. So I teach you how to do it yesterday and you didn't follow the procedure. You made all the mistake today.
এবার 3-4 দিন প্রভাত খুব রাগ ছিল রান্নার উপরে, যাকে দেখতে তাকে বলতো এই আমি বাটি চর্চা রান্না করতে শিখালাম আর এই এখন উল্টা করে দিয়েছে সবকিছু, রান্না করতে পারে না, অনেক বকা দিলেন। তখন মহারাজ একটু অসন্তুষ্ট, খুব খারাপ লাগলো, তবু মহারাজ কোনোদিন প্রভাতের সেবা ছাড়েননি। তারপরে
So after getting scolded by Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj actually felt very very bad. But he even though he was feeling bad, he never left the service of Srila Prabhupada.
তারপরে প্রভাতকে পরে যখন প্রভাত শান্ত হয়ে গেলেন, বললেন প্রভাত আপনার পেট খারাপ ছিল ওই জন্য আমি এরকম করছি। তারপর প্রভাত একটু শান্ত বললেন, না যেটা যেভাবে রান্না করতে সেটা সেভাবে রান্না করতে হবে।
So after a few days, when Prabhupada became calm, then Guru Maharaj went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, actually I did not follow your instruction because your health was not good. Then Prabhupada replied, say, no, you should follow the spiritual master instruction, whatever the way. And in the Bengali cooking especially, you should follow the way it should be done.
তো আমরা এভাবে জানতে পারি কি মহারাজ কতটা সহিষ্ণু ছিলেন। যত ওনার কাছে অসম্মানে বা যত ডিফিকাল্টি আসুক, উনি নিজেকে প্রভাতের স্মরণে সবসময় আত্মসমর্পণ করতেছিলেন।
So whatever difficulties Guru Maharaj faced during his life, he always surrendered himself to the Prabhupada.
দেখ, তো ছিল ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজ আমাদের বাঙালি জাতির একটা গর্ব। ওনার কাছে আমি নিজেকে আত্মসমর্পণ করে ওনার চরণে আমি আমার সরস্বতী প্রণতি নিবেদন করে আমি এখানে ওনার লীলা অমৃত শেষ করলাম।
So Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj we are very proud to have him. He's a Bengali Maharaj and we are very proud that he's from Bengal. And by this I'll finish my speech and we are completely what's that?
ভক্তি চারু স্বামী মহারাজ কি জয়।
Thank you so much, Prince Sagar Prabhu. You have given us a complete journey of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Thank you so much for a lovely offering in Bengali. Now, without any delay, before that, just a humble request from everyone. Offering shouldn't be more than 2 minutes because we have many devotees to read the offering. So it should not go beyond 2 minutes. That's the humble request. So can I please invite now His Grace Sundarananda Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Being in the presence of Maharaj and Prabhupada and all his disciples brings back many emotions and memories and a strong feeling of separation as well as feeling your embrace of Bhakti Charu Swami have always been a source of association of Maharaj because they do carry Maharaj in their hearts always. And I've always been grateful for that association. Although I've had many personal associations with Maharaj very closely, today I will try to speak a few pastimes of his in America. So in Calcutta, in the Rath Yatra in June 2017, Guru Maharaj requested one of his disciples, female disciples, he said, I wanted to prepare a brochure for a temple, for a project that I'm doing. And Maharaj had explained in great detail 32 aspects of the project. Like there'll be a Goshala, there'll be a dance studio, there'll be a Prasadam distribution center, and so many other things. And she came up with this huge brochure. And then he explained to some of his close disciples that I'm going to do this project in America. And you, 4 of you will come with me. We're leaving in July. And so they went to Florida. They went to this place called D-Land, I think that's the name of it. And then they proceed, and from the airport, this land was about 40 minutes from the airport. So they had already acquired the land. They were driving, and then the freeway became from 4 lanes to 3 lanes to 2 lanes to 1 lane. And then when they reached the property gate, there was no road. So they drove along, and then they reached through this very dense forest. And some of the devotees in the car were thinking, this looks like a haunted tree. Right at the gate there was a tree, and they were thinking, oh. So then they reached, and there was a church, there was kitchens, there was a barn and some residential quarters. They were all quite spread out, but there were huge trees on the property, and it was like a jungle which was untended for a long time. So when they got there, they stayed there. There was no electricity, there was no heating for the water or heating, and they were using battery lanterns, and Guru Maharaj, he stayed with the devotees there. But of course, taking bath in cold water and so forth, after 1-2 days, he got a very bad fever. And then slowly they started, and then Guru Maharaj walked in one day. Now in the meantime, these 4 Bengali devotees, they found some wild spinach growing on the land. And when Bengalis see shark, they get excited. So they were all laughing and rejoicing that, oh, we found some shark. And Guru Maharaj walked in at that time and said, so what do you think of the project and the land? And then he saw these devotees just laughing. He thought they were laughing at his questions, so he got angry. And he walked out and he sat down in the car. And then he came back and he said, well, I'm giving you 3 days to decide. Quit or commit. And then he was stern all the time. So then next morning, they had Mangalarti, which was out of town in some disciple's house. And then after Mangalarti, called these 4 disciples and said, well, what have you decided? So he gave them 3 days, but he asked them the question in 12 hours time. He asked them, what have you decided? And then he explained that, look, there was nothing in Vrindavan, there was nothing in Mayapur, there was nothing in Ujjain, but look at what there is now. And this property is only 40 minutes from the airport. Which ISKCON center have you seen this big, that's only 40 minutes from the airport? So then the devotees decide, yes, commit, we commit. So then they began to decide, and Guru Maharaj said, okay, we should cut down the trees. So there are 4 of you, we have to cut down 10 trees each. So every day 40 trees you have to cut down. So then Guru Maharaj, next morning he came with a chainsaw. No, I'm sorry, going back a bit. First Guru Maharaj decided we'll plant fruit trees. So he went and bought the fruit trees, but then the fruit trees had to go quite deep into the ground. So Guru Maharaj bought a machine to dig the holes. When the devotees put the machine on, it began to fly in the air like a helicopter. The Guru Maharaj said, give me that. And he taught them how to make a hole in the ground.
to put the trees. And the devotees were remarking how Guru Maharaj is expert even in this. So then they began to plant trees, and then someone else made a suggestion that we should cut down some of this forest. So then Guru Maharaj said, yes, you have to cut down 10 trees each a day, so 40 trees. And Guru Maharaj came with a chainsaw. And the devotees put this very powerful chainsaw, they put it on, it began to go like a snake. So then Guru Maharaj said, give me the machine. And he very expertly cut down the first tree. And he showed them. So then they began cutting down the trees every day. And so the one disciple who's very close to Guru Maharaj, who's recounting this, it's on YouTube, his name is Krishna Kishore. You can listen to this in YouTube. Very nice, more details and fewer mistakes like I'm making. But then he cut down this tree, and then one day he was cutting the tree, he cut it the wrong way, and the tree fell towards him. And he jumped out of the way, but the tree smashed the machine. So then he was thinking how to tell Guru Maharaj that we broke your new machine, your new chainsaw. But then finally, Guru Maharaj himself raised some subject in his class the next morning at Bhagavatam class. And then they told him, Guru Maharaj, the machine is broken in. And Guru Maharaj's first concern was, are you sure none of you are injured? We can buy a new machine, but we can't have anybody injured. And then Guru Maharaj told that disciple, you are not meant for cutting trees. Don't cut trees anymore. Let the other devotees do. And then so many things. I mean, this property they went into, when they went in there were snake skins inside the rooms. It was like really, not a very nice place. And Guru Maharaj went to GBC meetings. He told them, you'll take care here. When they were there, in the middle of the night, there was a piano in the church. The piano started playing in the middle of the night. And the gate of the church started banging. And then later on during the night, the gate in the actual property where they were staying started banging at night. And they got up in the morning and they questioned each other, were you playing the piano? Were you banging the gate? And they said nobody had done anything. And then Guru Maharaj returned and he gave class. He returned from the GBC meetings and he gave class and he said, it's a good thing this property is not haunted. And after that they never heard any of those noises. So just by his presence and his thought, the whole matter was cleared up. So just cutting down to the chase, one more thing, that one devotee, then Guru Maharaj was, the devotee who gave the idea of cutting the trees, he then came up and said, you have to get permission to cut trees. And especially these oak trees that you cut down, you will go to prison for that. So Guru Maharaj said, you all don't worry, I will take the blame. If necessary, I will sell this property to pay the fine. But don't worry. So then they decided that they will cut the oak trees into small pieces and bury it in the ground. Because it was a serious offense to cut down these protected trees. So then Guru Maharaj was standing outside in the hot sun for many days and inspiring the devotees to cut these trees into small pieces and lift the trees up and put them in the ground. Then it began to rain and Guru Maharaj was standing outside in the rain with an umbrella. And one disciple never decided, I need a break. So he asked Guru Maharaj, can I have a break? Guru Maharaj said, yeah, sure, you should have a break. And Guru Maharaj said to our disciples, I'm 74, he is 32, but he needs a break. Right? And anyway, so Guru Maharaj stressed to the devotees later that we are a team. We have to be together in this struggle. And Guru Maharaj exemplified that by being on site with the devotees, staying in the austere conditions, taking bath with cold water, and no electricity, and being there moment to moment, working with the devotees. This is an amazing thing, because on one hand he has to be the Guru Maharaj, the king. On the one hand he has to be a friend, he has to be a god brother, he has to be a mentor, and he has to be a disciple, and then he has to be part of the team as well. That was an amazing balance that Bhakti Charu Swami, he portrayed this balance so naturally. Whichever environment he was, he became that. And then lastly, to show that one devotee, a spider, while he was taking bath, the spider fell on his shoulder and bit him. And then he thought, oh, it's nothing, we get hundreds of spiders in India. And then in the meantime, Guru Maharaj himself, he had developed a very serious rash that was becoming like boils by standing in the sun so long. But Guru Maharaj said, I don't want to go to doctor. I'll go back to India and get some treatment. Don't worry. But when the spider bit this devotee got a fever, began to vomit. So some of the other devotees told Guru Maharaj that, look, this devotee is sick. So in the middle of the night, when he heard the news, Guru Maharaj said, get the car ready, and he personally took him to a doctor, got him treated, and brought him back. So for himself, he wouldn't take the inconvenience or spend the money to go and get a doctor, but for his disciple, he did it immediately. This was Guru Maharaj's nature. So I'll leave it there. I'll mention again Krishna Kishore. I mean, there are so many wonderful offerings on YouTube to Guru Maharaj, but this one is particularly nice. One of the things is when they first take Guru Maharaj to the land, the grass was very long, and while walking through the grass, a lot of thorns were stuck in Guru Maharaj's leg, and he was even bleeding. The devotees were pulling out the thorns from his leg. And he said, no, we have to keep going. These things will happen. We have to keep going. And he walked through the long grass. And this particularly resonated with me. I could remember taking Guru Maharaj to see a land which I had purchased for building a ISKCON temple in South Africa. And Guru Maharaj was GBC. In 1986, I took him to see this land. And the grass was taller than him, and he walked through the grass. So I could kind of imagine this actual thing happening again. And the last thing is that I learned something very interesting, that Guru Maharaj, when he took prasadam, is to get one of his disciples to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita while he was taking prasadam. So maybe it's a good idea to keep that tradition alive whenever we offer offerings to Guru Maharaj in our homes as well. We should read a little CC while he's taking. So thank you very much once again. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's so nice to have such senior Vaishnavas amongst us. That was wonderful, Prabhu. Now let's hear what Guru Maharaj's god sister, Her Grace Krishna Rupa Mataji, she has to say about Guru Maharaj. She says, I first met him in 1976 in Mayapur, and what really struck me about Bhakti Charu Maharaj was that he was really a saint. He was always gentleman, very, very polite and very respectful. Srila Prabhupada marked that because Bhakti Charu Maharaj's spiritual trajectory was so speedy and was so swift. One minute he was Bhakt Kishore, next minute he had first and second initiation, and next minute he was sannyasi. Next minute he is a GBC. And it all happened so quickly. I sincerely believe that he is one of those very, very special devotee, and Prabhupada recognized that. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Prahladnanda Prabhu. Prahladnanda Prabhu. Prahladnanda Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu.
Omagyanatimirandasya Gilanjana Salakya Shakshurunmilitamena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. I wasn't planning to speak. I came here for some nice Bengali ranga or cooking. There's also some senior devotees here. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I used to live in Mayapur, so I had some nice association with him. I was working in the GBC Secretariat office, which was his extension, his room's extension, so he gave us shelter there, so I'll be serving there, and whenever Maharaj comes, I used to get prasadam from him. It was nice. So when he came to Sydney, he used to start talking to me in Bengali, but I can't speak Bengali. I can speak broken Bengali. I'll reply him in Bengali, and you'll understand that I'm not from Bengal, and then he will start speaking in English. Anyway, every time I meditate on Bhakti Charu Maharaj, there's a South Indian Tamil proverb or saying comes to my mind. The proverb goes something like, I'm paraphrasing, if a banana mistakenly falls into milk, it means you should immediately relish it. Because it's one thing is banana. I mean, in South Indian bananas are quite sweet, not like the Cavendish one what you get, and it's falling in milk. It is like nectar. So when I think of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, it's more than that. It's not just banana and milk. It's also honey put together. So he's sweet. He's always sweet. Everything about him is sweet. He's sweet, humble, and so gentle. Every activity he performs is so gentle. Being so sweet, his Prabhupada named him twice. After some Bengali sweets. One is first he called him Kheer Chor Gopinath, or starting with Kheer. And then when he gave sannyas, he called him Bhakti Charu. Charu in Bengali also means sweet rice. Am I right? Yeah. So he named it twice after some sweet dish. I told Bhavananda Prabhu that today is his Vyasa Puja. Today is Bhakti Charu Maharaj Vyasa Puja. So he narrated a few of his pastimes with Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Prabhupada. But our god brother Prem Sagar Prabhu is so greedy, he saw all the pastimes, and he'll reiterate it. Prabhupada was in Allahabad, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj joined him. On the way back from Allahabad to Calcutta, apparently the railways offered a whole coach for the devotees to come back. And Prabhupada was sitting in his room in the train, in I guess probably first class or something. The doors are locked, and he was discussing with Rameshwar Prabhu some issues on BBT. And Bhavananda Prabhu wanted Bhakti Charu Maharaj, or he was Kishore, Bhakti Kishore then, he wanted him to meet Prabhupada. So he told Bhakti Charu Maharaj, go and meet Prabhupada. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj, being very humble, he did not want to go and meet Prabhupada. So Bhavananda Prabhu grabbed him, opened the door, and just threw him. Bhakti Charu Maharaj he's short, and Bhavananda Prabhu is a very tall, big man, and he just chucked him, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj just literally fell on Prabhupada's feet, and Prabhupada took him up, and he told him to sit just next to him, sit down next to me. And this is 77. Prabhupada already been a acharya, a lot of disciples, and somebody new coming in, Prabhupada making them sit next to him is quite astonishing to see. And then Prabhupada was talking to Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and Bhavananda Prabhu told me, just by the conversation, Prabhupada could understand that Bhakti Charu Maharaj is very scholarly, comes from a very high-class family. He could immediately understand who he is, a very cultured person. So he immediately got him to be part of his entourage. He said, he told Tamakras Maharaj and Bhavananda Prabhu to get him to come with me to Bombay, come with us to Bombay, and he started engaging Bhakti Charu Maharaj, cooking for him, devotees described various pastimes. So Prabhupada immediately grabbed the opportunity and took Bhakti Charu Maharaj under his arms. Bhavananda Prabhu also told me that that some devotee wanted to get sannyas from Prabhupada in 77, and Prabhupada said okay, and he asked Bhavananda Prabhu to organize the ceremony. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj was just sitting there next to the ceremony hall, and Bhavananda Prabhu saw Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, you should go in and ask Prabhupada for sannyas. And again, Maharaj is very humble. He was like, no, I'm not qualified. And again, Bhavananda Prabhu forced him to go in. And Prabhupada immediately, when Bhakti Maharaj asked him, and Bhavananda Prabhu Prabhupada immediately said, happy to give you sannyas in a very short interval. So he got given sannyas by Prabhupada. People who knows Bhavananda Prabhu, he was just highlighting how he was instrumental in getting some initiation and sannyas. There are many instances where I had to interact with him. Like there was this court case, in Calcutta, what Bhakti Charu Maharaj was bankrolling, and he didn't have anybody to assist him. So I was somehow willed in to do the groundwork or to help out. And when he came to know that I was helping, and he called the devotee in charge and he said, oh, send my regards and my wishes to Prahlad. Thanks for helping out. It's a nice service. I did not want to be there, but it happened, yeah. So, I had an opportunity to serve under Maharaj. And then we won the court case, and Maharaj sent all his disciples from Bengal to Calcutta to take over or to run the project. And then something didn't work out. So Maharaj didn't get disappointed or anything. He just went to Ujjain, middle of nowhere, just started this wonderful project, built a temple, and moved all his disciples there. It's a really nice project there. So just started a project from nowhere and made it a big success. There's so many things I can share. I'll just stop here. Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai. I go.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I would like to read what His Grace Deenabandhu Das says about our Guru Maharaj. He says, Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Charu in English means charming, and everything about Maharaj is charming. His smile was charming, his speaking was charming, his way of dealing with others was charming. Everything was Charu. The most dear thing to Prabhupada is book distribution, and now Prabhupada had a very nice, cultured, well-educated Bengali boy, and the first service was very charming, translating books into Bengali. Maharaj also did one more charming service that Prabhupada didn't ask him. Prabhupada had written Bengali articles in the compilation form of Guitar Gan. So without telling Prabhupada, he got it, he edited it, published it, printed it, and then he brought a copy to Srila Prabhupada. And today this book, Guitar Gan, is still one of the favorite books to distribute in Bengal. It is very charming. Now, before moving further, I would like to announce one thing. We have a small gift table on the back. Before leaving this temple room, you can take your gift from that table from Geetamrita Mataji. She will hand over to you. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Ghanshyam Prabhu.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunimadi Paschatya Shatharini. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahotsav Ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Hare Krishna. Firstly, our heartfelt thanks to all the disciples, Siksha disciples and Diksha disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj for continuing to have the wonderful Vyasa Puja festival in the temple. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says that even though we think Vyasa Puja program is a more intimate, devotee-only event, Tamal Krishna Maharaj says it's actually a big preaching opportunity. Especially those who are new to Krishna consciousness, they get attracted more to take shelter of Guru, shelter of Krishna, by seeing other devotees who have already taken shelter. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, we can remember him in so many ways. Every time we celebrate an event, I would always meditate what is one thing I can actually take from Maharaj's instruction and try to follow, at least as long as we remember. Even if we end up following even for a day or two, if not weeks and months, we'll still stand to gain so much. Maharaj in one lecture, he says the duty of the Acharya is to give the philosophy, give bhakti in a way that's more relatable, more understandable to the people at the time of their appearance. Philosophy is the same. It's timeless. Vedic scriptures are timeless. But the Acharyas who come, they share this information about the Vedic Shastras in a way that's understandable to people at the time of their appearances. So if you look at his Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he preached Krishna consciousness in a certain way. And we see Srila Prabhupada, he used certain contemporary examples in those days. You would see Prabhupada using tape recorders in his lectures, examples of them, examples of moon landing, examples of evolution, so on and so forth. And His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj says it's the duty of the Acharya, just like how a mother bird would take the food, chew it, and then feed its babies in a way that's digestible. It's a very good instruction for preachers. Normally when we go for preaching, we expect people to come to our level to understand. But Maharaj, by using that example, he clearly says we need to actually go down to the level which is digestible for them, digestible for people who we want to benefit. Maharaj made the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, which Srila Prabhupada has mercifully given to us in an easily understandable way, more easier way, in a much more easy to understandable way. Be it when it comes to even you hear his Bengali bhajans, there will be a simplicity in the way how he sings. It will feel that you can actually sing. Many times when you hear bhajans especially, it's very hard for people to follow, but Maharaj, if you see, he would choose very simple tune. Many times I remember even when Maharaj was here leading, he would stop the kirtan, he would train the audience how you are supposed to do. You are missing the beat. He would take the patience. So for him it's not about, what I know, you better just hear. No, he wanted bhakti to be practiced in a way, in an all-encompassing way, all-inclusive way where everyone can participate. And to achieve that, he is ready to let go of his position as the Acharya, and he can actually come down and teach people, train people slowly. Even as he would walk outside of the temple, you can actually observe, he would start, wait, stand, speak to the different guests. Some of them would come and ask, Maharaj, can I take a photo? And sometimes you think, come on, is that a request? You make to an Acharya, and Maharaj would happily comply. Because he knows that's all that person can actually take. And then he would go, he would have different levels of conversations with different people. To managers, he would ask how the temple is going. To preachers, he would ask. To youth preachers, he would ask. I remember once, this is like about more than 10 years ago, in one meeting we had with Maharaj, he sat down and he heard all preaching reports from Bhakti Vrikshas, and then he said, so what's your program for preaching to Westerners? And we didn't have any answer. Then he said, then you're not preaching. And that was it. It was hard, strong. But then that got us actually thinking that like, okay, we need to do something. And then we started with the Western outreach. We started something for preaching. So Maharaj always, he made us to feel sheltered in this process. He made the process which Srila Prabhupada has mercifully given to us in an inspiring, simple way, which anyone can actually take up and they can follow. Maharaj made the philosophy of Krishna consciousness not only easily understandable, he made it very practical. If somebody had issues with chanting japa, Maharaj would give a simple instruction, just to play Prabhupada steps and you just chant along. If somebody had issues with reading Srila Prabhupada's books and remembering, Maharaj would give simple instruction, just walk and read. Or if you are forgetting, just take notes as you read. Simple instructions. If you have been to any retreat seminar of Maharaj, first question before he even starts speaking, his question will be, hello everybody, how are you all? Have you had nice prasadam? How many of you have heard that personally? All of us. He had that care. It's not about him coming and like just sharing whatever he has. He had that human touch, devotional touch, Vaishnava touch in everything he did. There's a certain aura of aristocracy with him. How many of you have felt that, observed it? When you looked at him, same. Prabhupada himself one day he signs and one of his disciples looks at the signature and he smiles. Prabhupada looks at him and he says, you like it? And then the disciple says, yes, Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada says, yeah. Even my professor actually told me that I have a very aristocratic. So when you observe qualities of Maharaj, you can actually see, like father, like son. Same. You know, there will be a certain aura of aristocracy with Maharaj, you know, with the way how he walks, the gait with which he walks, the language he speaks. Indian accented, but it will sound very pleasing. Very posh, very royal. He made us feel proud of being part of this moment. How many of you have felt that way? So simple things which is given to us but we didn't know how to appreciate, but Maharaj made us to feel proud of what we are actually given. He made us understandable, he made us value what we have. His Holiness Radhanath Swami says, normally when we talk about bhakti, we talk about being humble. Trinada Bhisunichana is given so much importance. Gokuleshwar Prabhu recently when he was here, he was mentioning this point. If you think I'll just maintain my consciousness, whichever way it is, I'll just chant japa and I'll count myself as a devotee, then Prabhu said that is okay, you don't need to be Trinada Bhisunichana. But if you are serious about practicing bhakti 24/7 in a humble attitude, then you have to follow Trinada Bhisunichana. Unless you are humble, you cannot be a devotee 24/7. Part-time devotee is possible. You know, you can just maintain your ego, you can do whatever that you want. Radhanath Maharaj says, unless we have the appreciation, we cannot become humble. So first step is actually having that appreciation. So even though we have always heard about, you know, how we should be humble, we never could understand what being humble means until we started hearing Maharaj's classes. Literally at every step he would, after making a point, he would say, in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada has given everything, and then he'll throw a different light on what Srila Prabhupada has given, and then you will think, yes, you will start to appreciate, yes, this is what Srila Prabhupada has given. And that can be as simple as, you know, why we should offer flower, why we should come to temple, why we should bow down, even though none of this is simple acts, but Maharaj would throw a very special light of enlightening us in a certain way that will make us go deeper in our appreciation, and naturally that will make us feel humble. So, every single thing that we can meditate on Maharaj, it will bring us to that point of appreciating, it will bring us to that point of being grateful to what Srila Prabhupada has given. Like Prahlad Prabhu was mentioning about this pastime of Bhavananda Prabhu, just grab grabbing Maharaj's hand and throwing into the garage, he shut also. If you read that section in Ocean of Mercy, how many of you have read Ocean of Mercy? I keep asking. If you haven't, there are books there. You can take not for free but for donation. It's there. Please go through it. You don't know what you are missing. I'll keep telling that every single time. You don't know what you are missing. You will see pastimes, you will see philosophy, you will learn how to love Srila Prabhupada. So in that pastime, Bhavananda Prabhu throws and he closes, and Maharaj bows down and he looks. Prabhupada is seated on one side, and on the other side he says all senior sannyasis are there. My Guru Maharaj was there, His Holiness Jayapada Swami Maharaj, Achyutananda Swami, everyone was there. Achyutananda Maharaj, everyone. And then he looks up to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada says, okay, sit here. And he says like, no, Prabhupada says, it's alright, sit here. Then he comes seated right next to him. First instruction, if you read that section, Maharaj says, after making him seated, he turns, Prabhupada says, you translate all my books in Bengali. Prabhupada means business straight away. So he says, translate all my books in Bengali. And then Maharaj says, Prabhupada, my Bengali is not that great. Then Prabhupada says, don't worry, practice makes a man perfect. That's it. In a similar instance, a few months later, one day, Maharaj brings a stacks of letters to Prabhupada, saying, Prabhupada, these are the letters we need to respond back. They are in Hindi. Then he dictates, and then he writes it in English, and then he says, Prabhupada, who should I ask to transcribe this in Hindi Lipi? Then Prabhupada says, you write in Hindi. And then Bhakti Charu Maharaj responds to Prabhupada, my Hindi is bad. Prabhupada says, don't worry, everyone's Hindi is bad. Hindi handwriting itself is bad. Nobody can write it properly, right? And then Maharaj says, then I felt a lot of confidence that way. So you will see this simplicity. When you read that book especially, you will see this little child in all of us, that craves for that little attention from our spiritual master, that craves for that little desire to actually have some appreciation from the spiritual master and everything. And when you read that, you can relate. And when you read that, you will actually understand how to love Srila Prabhupada. I would always say of one of the multivarious contributions of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, one thing that I would say it almost always stands up, always, not almost, always stands up is how we should all love Srila Prabhupada. Even though we don't need, somebody to come and convince us, when you read Maharaj's realizations, when you hear Maharaj actually speak, we will have that extra sense of appreciation for Srila Prabhupada. So on this auspicious day, let us make this commitment. My spiritual master says on Vyasa Pujas especially, we should take that opportunity to recommit our dedication to our spiritual masters. So Maharaj always held Srila Prabhupada as his heart and soul, even when he initiates his disciples. I remember once I was crossing that door, I was going here, I was watching that lecture later, hey Ganesham, he's calling. And then he stopped the initiation lecture and he says, go catch him. And then one devotee called me, I came that side, then Maharaj said, you sit down here. They are getting initiated, you watch them. I think Pranavishwa Prabhu was initiated at that time, I remember. Because he was getting shaved in the ashram there. So, Maharaj was actually very particular how he wanted Krishna consciousness to be presented. So on this auspicious day, we can recommit ourselves to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. We can recommit ourselves to ISKCON, which Maharaj had repeatedly emphasized. This is body of Srila Prabhupada. And no matter what happens, never leave ISKCON. These two things, if you have ever known Bhakti Charu Maharaj, you would have heard. If you haven't heard this, then I would say you don't know about Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Okay, if you separate ISKCON and Prabhupada away from, when you understand about the personality of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, then we need to learn about Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. That's what I would say. But if we have learned to love Srila Prabhupada, if we have learned to be loyal to ISKCON, that means we have understood the spirit of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So on this day, auspicious day, let us recommit ourselves to this mission and let us find out how we can better serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada and thereby become an object of pleasure for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki समुदाय गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे कृष्णा
Thank you so much, Kansham Prabhu. That was really beautiful offering. Now let's hear what Her Grace Dina Tarini Devi Dasi says about Guru Maharaj. She says, we were living in Washington DC area, Yamuna, Maharaj and I. We were staying at one devotee place. Yamuna was working on her second cookbook, Yamuna's Table. It was supposed to be lighter, easier, more healthier recipes. Maharaj wanted to cook one night and he was in the kitchen. We went in and we were looking. He had actually made a German potato gratin dish, but he had put 2 packages of cheddar cheese in the dish with the potatoes, and Yamuna was awed by it and she asked him, where did you learn to cook this dish? He said he learned it in Germany when he was studying there. We remember him as being very, very humble, very sweet and a little bit shy at that time. Now just one more announcement. All this I am reading from a book, Prabhupada Gata Prana. If you all want that book, you can go to that table and order to Gita Mrita Mataji. We have 4 books of Guru Maharaj. One is Prabhupada Gata Prana. Another one is Ocean of Mercy, which Ghanshyam Prabhu has already told. You should have one copy of Ocean of Mercy. And the third one is the Lord and Master, in which Guru Maharaj's all offerings are there. From I think 1980 till 2019, all offerings are there in that book. And the fourth one is Pariprashnena, in which all question and answers are compiled, where he was giving lecture and after that Q&A happened. So disciples have compiled a book, Pariprashnena. So you all can have a copy of these books. You just have to go to that table and let her know. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to call another senior Vaishnav amongst us, His Grace Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastabhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastabhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastabhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I would like to thank all the devotees organizing this most auspicious Vyasa Puja of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. Thank you all for organizing this event and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak a few words in glorification of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami on the most auspicious event of his Vyasa Puja. Glorifying a great Vaishnava like His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, is very difficult because he is so exalted and I am so low, so it's very difficult. It's like glowworm trying to show light to the sun. Glowworm can never glow in the sun, it's not possible. However, that doesn't mean we don't do that. We still attempt to do that because by their mercy we can say a few words that are meaningful. And on our own we can't. So that is our attempt to get a little drop of the ocean of mercy. So His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj is, you can see, an extraordinary devotee, he's not an ordinary devotee. Everything about him was extraordinary. He came to Krishna consciousness visibly to us. He was always a devotee. Visibly he came. When he read, first book he read was Nectar of Devotion. Now, how many people read Nectar Devotion, understand that and become a devotee? So that's not ordinary. Even Bhagavad Gita as it is, I couldn't understand. I had to take help of devotees, so I couldn't understand any books actually. But he just read Nectar Devotion and totally convinced, came and joined Srila Prabhupada. And we have already heard how he progressed so quickly, right? First initiation, second initiation, sannyas. Not many devotees fall in that category. And Srila Prabhupada gave him the task of translating his books into Bengali. And he mentioned sometimes privately, I like that service because I had an excuse to go and meet Prabhupada very often. It was very difficult to get darshan of Prabhupada, but because that's a difficult translation, I have to immediately everyone says, yes, you can. So he would get immediate audience of Prabhupada. So that was the secret of getting Prabhupada's association. And of course we have heard from all the devotees how Bhakti Charu Maharaj wanted everything first class. He didn't like devotees coming late for meetings. So this is unprofessional, this is not ISKCON, this is not how you should do things, should be on time. And he liked everything to be first class, not just somehow scrape through. He wanted everything, and you can see that in his bhajans, in his, Prabhupada Abhaycharan, Prabhupada biography that he did. Such high class presentations, projects that he did, everything was first class. So he is teaching us to follow Srila Prabhupada and carry out instruction, not just somehow do it, but do the best possible. And that is what we learn from his Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. That is how we show love for Srila Prabhupada, by doing our service to the best extent we can, and not settle for something second or third class. And that is what I'm saying in his disciples also. I'm very thankful to them to set the standards the same way they're trying to follow that same standard. And so we're very grateful to him for teaching us the lessons. And he's so observant. One time I was standing with him in the corridor. We were about to have a meeting or something, and suddenly he said, why are they not, the person who is leading the kirtan, why is he not singing Prabhupada Pranam Mantra first, then Panchatattva Mantra, then Hare Krishna Mantra? You don't jump to Hare Krishna Mantra straight away. I was not listening to kirtan, I didn't know what was going on. He observed from outside the temple hall. So always start with Prabhupada Pranam Mantra. So it was very heavy, and for the right reason. And so we learn like that. We make mistakes. We don't know. We get happy trained. So he was very, very keen that we should become a follower of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Anuga, as they say, follow the Prabhupada. Because we have no qualification, at least I don't have. But if you follow Srila Prabhupada, then something will come out. So he has firm faith in Srila Prabhupada. And yet he was very personal in his dealings. I remember one time I went to Mayapur. I just landed. I was trying to find my way to the guest house. And there was a big crowd, and suddenly I saw a big crowd. And I looked and I saw his Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was there, and there were a lot of devotees around him. So I waited for some time. I thought maybe I can give obeisance to him personally. So, but then the crowd was too big, and I just paid obeisance outside the crowd, and I walked to the guest house. And I'm talking to the guest house manager to get the room allocated. Meanwhile, somebody taps me on the shoulder, I look around, Bhakti Charu Maharaj is there. So Hare Krishna, welcome to Mayapur. I don't know how he saw my obeisance outside the crowd, in the corner somewhere. I just walked in, like I am, right? But he noticed that, and he came all the way just to acknowledge that obeisance, And that's what I found striking in ISKCON. I have met so many sannyasis before they came to ISKCON. I just put obeisance to them, they're not even acknowledged. They're very big, very small. But in ISKCON I find every sannyasi, every guru pay obeisance, they will acknowledge one way or the other. They will never ignore you. I thought it was so nice, because there is a reciprocation. So His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj always was very concerned. And whenever he spoke to me, he would always tell me how I kept traveling from Japan to Australia. That was his favorite, every time he goes. And he's a devotee who flies every weekend from Tokyo to Sydney. I don't know, just I'm sitting in the plane and not even flying the plane. But he saw that as a commitment, what a little commitment. So very thankful to him for giving so much encouragement as we went through, we went through very turbulent times here. And things are not easy, but he was always there to support us, encourage us, and help us to remain fixed on the path of Krishna consciousness. He always wanted to see the temple come up in the western suburbs as another addition to Srila Prabhupada's, centers, list of centers, so more people can get Krishna consciousness. In fact, he came to the land, so temple land, and he gave us blessings on the temple land, and he can see that he said the temple is going to come up. Don't worry, keep working. In fact, the first fundraising dinner I remember we had was in Waldorf. The Waldorf is no more now, on the James Roos Drive. And we collected money for Radha Gopinath actually, to have the gold-plated painting of the temple, the Brahmacharya Ashram renovation. That was the first fundraising dinner he came. And his presence, we got a good collection. Then we had, in 2014, we had fundraising dinner for the new temple construction. He was the first dinner. And I can tell you that was the biggest donation we got, $320,000, the record. Never after that, Nacha Bhuta na Bhavishati. After that, we haven't done after that. Maybe next time we should keep a photo of his one with Bhakti Charu. And that way, we might get that back again, those golden days. But anyway, we can go on. Guru Maharaj has got so many wonderful qualities. He was very kind enough to offer me Shiksha as well. So my Guru Maharaj also accepted. He said, if you're not able to meet me, you can talk to my god brother Bhakti Charu Maharaj, take Shiksha from him. So I regard him also as my Guru Maharaj, who gave a lot of valuable instruction, lot of mercy, tolerated a lot of my offenses. And to all of you devotees also, thank you so much for tolerating and giving me a chance to serve. Thank you very much. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Wonderful offering, very candid. Very nice offering, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Now let's hear GBC, founder Acharya of ISKCON. Ravindra Swarup Prabhu wrote it, but it was inspired greatly by Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. He was extremely concerned with making sure that Prabhupada had his position as founder Acharya firmly in place among us. He could see that this was absolutely necessary for the movement to not only thrive but to survive. This is true leadership. Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj understood the need of the hour, and the reason that His Holiness had the potency to do this was his clear vision. He was absolutely convinced, and that conviction went into the hearts of the others. So now, before going further, we have half an hour left, and we have, I think, few devotees to read their offerings. So I would like to request everyone, please keep the time limit to 2 minutes, because we have few devotees left still to read their offerings. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Prabhash Prabhu and Radha Bandha Mataji.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Bhakti Vedanta Swami Pastor Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauri Pastor. She tendered to all of our disciples and all the devotees of ISKCON that we are still trying to follow that thing. Guru Maharaj was a wonderful devotee, and of course, as many have already pointed out, he wanted this ISKCON, that nobody should leave ISKCON under any circumstances. With the difficult times, he always propagated this message. Once you have joined ISKCON, never leave ISKCON under any circumstances. And always serve Srila Prabhupada in true sense. He never bothered about himself. Even the Vyasa Puja, he said that you celebrate my Vyasa Puja day for the Srila Prabhupada landing in US. Such a humble devotee, such a great personality that only few can imagine. I won't take much time, there are many other devotees there. I'll stop here. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhash Prabhu. Is Radha Bandha Mataji here? No. Okay. Now going ahead, let's read what His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj says about Guru Maharaj. Oh, hang on, wait. Sorry. Yes. His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj. It was a very difficult time in America when there was the Twin Tower hit. More than 5,000 people lost their lives. Maharaj came to Chicago for a few days. He was scheduled to leave very soon. We were sitting together, watching it on television. It was time for me also to move out and preach, but airports were not giving flights. Security was on red alert. Maharaj was about to leave, but I stayed back and said to him, I will stay here for few more days and wait till things change. Then Maharaj looked at me and said, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, a hero dies once. That was Maharaj. I would like to invite now His Grace Shri Krishna Prabhu and Her Grace Charu Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Signacheta Supradeta Vagminam Jasaputam Prabhupada Prana Novi Bhakti Charutam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshavarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. Guru Maharaj has given lots of instructions, but I was going into the memory lane that how I met Guru Maharaj the first time and how I met Guru Maharaj. So I used to listen Guru Maharaj lectures and sweet bhajans on SoundCloud. That attracted me towards you, Gurudev. After listening to your lectures, many times I discussed with Suhrit Krishna Prabhu about you, and he used to tell me that yes, he will arrange your darshan for me. And finally that day came in 2010 when you arrived in Sydney, and I remember seeing you, Guru Maharaj, at Sundarananda Prabhu's apartment and St. Leonard's, and I cannot forget that moment when I saw you the first. Please let us know when we can have your darshan, Guru Maharaj. Within 10 seconds of that said message, you just came running out and hugged me with so much love. Then you ushered us to your room and we had a very good time with you. In your next visit to Sydney, we had very good programs at our small home in Kogra. But this shows that how much you were detailed and your quality of appreciating each one who was doing anything for the success of the mission. If anyone asked anything, you, in your simple yet straightforward answer, see what Prabhupada has said. So that shows how much love you had for His divine grace. And you taught all of us how to love and follow Srila Prabhupada in the life and mission of Lord Chaitanya. In most of your instructions, you always emphasize that be a good devotee of Krishna and not a big devotee of Krishna. You have taught us the discipline and punctuality and value for time to all your disciples, so that the concept of ISKCON program not starting on time and making IST as ISKCON standard time as a generic verb for the people of the world. We learned that in many ways, and I have had such one incident when I was driving you in Sydney for one of the seminars, which was Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's Vrindavan pastime here in North Sydney. And when I was driving, it was my first time in my life that I was driving Guru Maharaj, And when he's sitting aside, you will forget everything. So I forgot the first turn that I should have been taken. I went ahead. And in North Sydney, what happens, if you miss the turn, then you have to go all the way and then you take a U-turn and come back. So that's what happened. And that made Guru Maharaj so angry. He said, the person who is sitting behind, I think it was Krishna Prabhu, he asked him that, who is the MC in the program? He said, Charu Mataji. Okay, call Charu and tell her that my driver, Shubha Krishna Das, has missed a turn and that's why I'm getting late. And it didn't stop over there. After 2-3 minutes, again he asked Krishna, have you called? has she announced. And then he made sure that he announces in the program that because of me he got late. He went into the program and he asked devotees, did you get the message that why I got late today? So it was not that he wanted to chastise me just because I made a mistake. He wanted to make sure that we all value time in such a way that, it should not remain ISKCON standard time. We should all value time. The time is so important. Guruvar, your instructions were so good and so well, you have delivered them so nicely to all of us. After that incident, you kept chastising me for 2 to 3 days. He was living in, 4 apartment. He kept asking me, so you are not going to miss any turn. And after that program, Krishna Vidan pastime, we had evening darshan of Guru Maharaj. He used to talk to all of us disciples in the forum apartment. That time he gave lots of instructions. We recorded those instructions, and as Vijay Prabhu said, that we used to play those instructions recording in our weekly leadership meeting. We used to have that in the meeting room behind, and we used to play that, and we used to all meditate upon those instructions of Guru Maharaj, all of us, all the leadership in Sydney, and we used to follow all that. So there are heaps of instructions, heaps of qualities that we can talk about Guru Maharaj. I can talk till evening about Guru Maharaj, but there is one, that simplicity, the punctuality of the time, his sweet singing, easy for anyone to follow, all the Vaishnava bhajans and the kirtan. He was very particular about what kind of tune that one should pick at what time of the day, and so that it should not become boring for anyone and people should be able to follow the kirtan. Guru Maharaj, thank you very much on all your instructions, and I keep remembering all your instructions, try to follow all my life. Please bless me on this day. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Maharaj's qualities are innumerable. To speak for 2 minutes is just it's a blasphemy actually. You can't do it in 2 minutes. I'll try my best. Everybody, the best part about any Vyasa Puja, I find, is when all devotees describe about Maharaj's beautiful qualities. And it just makes me realize how little we know about Maharaj. With our interactions, which are not so many, you just realize, oh my God, I didn't know this quality. I didn't know this quality at all. My interactions with Maharaj were not so much in person. They were more through the emails. And I still, even now, I just go through all, I have it saved, all the emails saved in the folder, and every single day, I just go through some email or the other to remind myself of what he said and how he encouraged me. So when we think of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, the name itself is an institution. He is a spiritual, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this word well, but an aficionado, just someone who is an expert in everything he does. He was not just personable, he was very personal as well. And Maharaj, he lived, as you all know, he lived his life and his with an undiminishing selflessness. For me, that the way he lived his life, it actually always brought the ancient scriptures, the message of the ancient scriptures to life. Maharaj personally really lovingly pushed me, and for that I am very, very, very indebted to him. So I've just written 2 small poems about Maharaj, about the different qualities he has. One is an acrostic poem, so if you write Bhakti Charu Maharaj in a column, then all his different qualities have been described with the first letter of the word. So the first one is just about the qualities. Guru Maharaj has a heart pure and true. Guru Maharaj has a heart pure and true. In his love, these qualities shine through. the devotions embrace, you truly find the qualities of devotees gentle and kind. So the first one is the quality, and then it just I've described it in or tried to describe in a poetic form. Faith unwavering like a rock, devotion that withstands each shock, humility, no false ego at all, surrendering to the divine's call, patience in trials you endure, compassion for all for sure, kindness in every word and deed, a heart that's always quick to heed, gratitude for life's every blessing, contentment is your soul's kerosene. Um, Forgiveness, a generous heart, love that sets all doubts apart, selflessness in the service you find, inner peace, your tranquil mind, diligence in your sacred quest, trusting the path you've been blessed, virtuous in thought, word, and act, a gentle soul never lacking tact. Filled with joy, your spirit high, resilient even when troubles draw nigh. Generosity in your love's sweet spell, inner purity like a crystal stream. Endless hope in divine's grand scheme. Knowledge deep of spiritual way, Guru's qualities in his personality display. And the next one is. The next one is the acrostic poem. Blessed soul on a spiritual quest, humbled heart in service the best. A devotee with love that's pure, kindness and grace you reassure, transcending problems path you clear, in devotion's embrace who you hold dear. Charismatic presence, a guiding light, harmonizing soul, day and night, a luminary in devotion's art, radiating love from your heart, a beacon of wisdom you share with grace. Maharaj, your teachings we try to embrace. Eternal devotion, your sacred name, reverberates in hearts aflame. All your disciples in unity we will stand, journeying together hand in hand. Maharaj, your legacy will forever endure, a luminary of love, humble and pure. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubh Krishna Prabhu and Charu Mataji. Personally, I always look forward for Charu Mataji to read her offering because she comes out with a very creative ideas, like she will write poems and everything. Now let's hear what Her Grace Devi Shakti Devi Dasi says about Guru Maharaj. When Bhakti Charu Swami was just a bhakta in Mayapur, he was perfect in everything. His mannerism, his etiquette, the way he spoke to us, the way he did service. I was just astounded that he was a new bhakta. Then after meeting Prabhupada gave him double initiation and then he became his secretary, his cook, his servant, and I understood why, because of his qualifications. At that time, Prabhupada always had at least 3 people with him, the secretary, the servant and a GBC. But it sounded as if this one person was able to do everything for Prabhupada. He was able to cook, he was able to be secretary, and he was able to do the personal service for Prabhupada as well. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Krishna Mohan Prabhu and Her Grace Kandarpa Mataji. Is Krishna Mohan Prabhu here? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaputale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Namine Snigdha Cheta Shukranata Bhakti Namchara Shukata Prabhupada Namo Charu Padana Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaputale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurumani Pacharine Vishesha Swarnabhadi Pacharashatarine. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Guru Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. We pray at your lotus feet that we can be of good service, your legacy of Krishna consciousness. I came across an interesting pastime when I was reading the Murta Lila in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Pundurika Vidyanidhi, he is one of the most important personalities in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila. Being a close associate of Mahaprabhu, he was the spiritual master of Gadadhar Pandit. Pundurika Vidyanidhi's family was originally from Dhaka district in Bangladesh. However, the family moved to Chittagong, but the region was not mentioned. Later, Pundurik Vidyanidhi was born in Chittagong. In a Prabhupada commentary, he mentioned that his birth in Chittagong was very significant because there had not been a great Vaishnava who was born in Chittagong before. As a result, the birth blessed the Chittagong region. When he grew up, Pundurika Vidyanidhi moved to Navadvip as Mahaprabhu's desire in his divine plan. Reflecting on this episode, I thought back to Guru Maharaj sharing his family story and how his grandmother desired for at least one child in the family to be born in their original hometown in Bangladesh, the Brahmanbaria district. As the family had been resided in Calcutta, his grandmother's desire was fulfilled as Guru Maharaj stayed in Bangladesh for 6 months before returning to Calcutta. Similarly to Pundurik Vidyanidhi's, Guru Maharaj surrendered to Srila Prabhupada in Navadvip Dham, became a great Vaishnava. Within the last 100 years, Guru Maharaj has the only great Acharya born in Bangladesh. I strongly believe that Guru Maharaj's birth had blessed Bangladesh and that those blessings have transformed into the exponential growth of Krishna consciousness movement in Bangladesh within the past few decades. We have been most fortunate to be accepted by Guru Maharaj as his disciple and to experience his divine contribution to the Krishna consciousness movement. We will never forget your physical presence through our personal experiences with you. You are still alive in our hearts. Please give us the strength so that we can continue to follow your instructions. You are forever our well-wisher, and we are eternally grateful for your kindness. Your insignificant servants, Krishna Mohan Das and Gandharva Sundari Dashi. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Krishna Mohan Prabhu. Now, before calling upon another devotee, just a small announcement. Before leaving this temple room, you can take your gift from that table. It's for everyone who is attending the Vyasa Puja today. So take your gift today along with you. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to call upon His Grace Sahadevananda Prabhu and Krishna Karshini Mataji. Sahadevananda Prabhu, are you here? Okay. Okay. Maybe in the meantime, if Sahadev Prabhu is busy, we can call upon Manendra Krishna Prabhu and Seva Priya Mataji. Manendra Krishna Prabhu and Seva Priya Mataji. Yes, Manendra Krishna Prabhu is here. Okay.
Nome Vishnu Pada Krishna Krishna Putula Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Name Sikta Jeta Shukrata Vena Prashabut Prabhupada Pata Pavana Ravi Bhakti Charu Name Vishnu Pada Krishna Krishna Putula Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Prasachari Nirvishesha Shunnavati Pashata Dashati Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. My dearest Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. All glories to His Divine Grace, Vajana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga Maharaj. Gurudev, after your disappearance Leela, we are passing through very struggling situation materialistically. Recently, I have lost my material father, who is also one of your disciples. Apparently, it looks like it is the loss for me and my family. But later I have recognized, through the recounting all the divine incidents took place 2 days before my father left his body. It looks like you just did all the arrangement as how he wanted to leave his body. Gurudev, through this you also exemplify me why you commanded us to never leave ISKCON in any situation. It is also a realization for an ignorant, unqualified person like me why you have strongly instructed us to read Prabhupada's books, because without that it is not possible to see and feel how Guru and Gauranga are always protecting us, at least when you are just trying to follow their instructions. From my heart, Gurudev, I realize that you didn't leave us. You are always protecting us through your Bani. Gurudev, please bless us and help so that we can always follow your Bani regardless my material hurdles and so-called positions covered with false ego. Your most insignificant son and daughter, Manendra Krishna Das and Seva Priya Dashi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Manendra Prabhu. I know we have very limited time, but I would really like to read what His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj says about our Guru Maharaj. Bhakti Charu Swami left us on the most auspicious day of Guru Purnima and disappearance of Srila Sanatan Goswami. Srila Sanatan Goswami was very astute. He could understand people's motives and intentions and was able to protect devotees in the most practical way. He was very friendly and would always approach people like a family member. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was also like Srila Sanatan Goswami, very friendly and a true well-wisher for everyone, and he would help them at all levels. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Sadevananda Prabhu and Krishna Karshini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I promise I won't take long. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances onto your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. It is said that the causeless mercy from Lord Krishna, one get a bona fide spiritual master like you. And with the mercy of Guru, one get Krishna, We consider ourselves extremely fortunate that you have bestowed your mercy upon us, even though we are not even qualified. This is the quality of a pure Vaishnava, and you are one of the example. Last December, we have visited Ujjain temple and spent a quality time there. Every aspect of the temple, all your disciples, the devotees, and endowed with your mood of love, affection, and care. We felt your presence there every moment. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for giving us such a wonderful experience. During your visit in Sydney, we tried to do little service with many mistakes. You hardly got angry, rather upon called us to rectify our moods of service and mistake. I remember you have chastised me 3 times one day, and later that day you called me over the phone saying that you are sorry that you have scolded me too many times. I consider myself most fortunate on that day. I wish you could do this to me every day. We took you as granted those days and when you were physically present in Sydney. But now, understanding how fool we were that we couldn't or didn't took full advantage of serving you. During the World Pilgrimage Tour in 2019 that we joined with you in India, we saw thousands of devotees around you just to get a blessing from you. You acted as an affectionate father who is always concerned for his children's spiritual well-being. Today we only have one prayer to Krishna, that let you be our eternal Father and let us engage on your service eternally. And we know that this will be our spiritual perfection. Your most unqualified children, Shwadevananda Das and Krishna Krishna Devi Das.
Thank you, Sadir Prabhu. Now I would request Shubhanananda Prabhu to come and present his offering. Thank you, Prabhu.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते देवाभित स्वामी इति नमिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति चारु स्वामी इति नमिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna. So I think I'm the last lucky one, and we have a limited time. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj, like I have an opportunity to serve Maharaj on few occasions. Maharaj was so merciful, like he was so merciful. He used to serve even his own devotees, like basically, and even the guests. I remember once, like when we met Guru Maharaj. Maharaj cooked for everyone, you know. Like I never like noodles or asparagus, but Maharaj cooked it so well. And I was shocked, you know, like Maharaj is so merciful. He just gives so much of mercy. At the same time, he always used to give a practical tips. Once I was driving a Maharaj says, why don't you buy a better car, you know? And I was saying, oh, Maharaj is so much concerned, you know. He even used to give us some practical tips about the life, you know, how you should lead the life and like that. And other thing what I learned from Maharaj is he was always glorifying Srila Prabhupada. So he was always, his voice was so sweet. And when Maharaj used to smile, you know, it used to melt my heart. He used to hug us and he used to feel like I'm nothing, you know. So this is what I learned from Maharaj. And one thing very important I learned from a Maharaj was he always used to say, whatever happened, never leave ISKCON. That was so powerful. Last thing I want to share with the Maharaj was, one thing I learned from Maharaj was about time management. And before Maharaj left his body, when he was in Sydney, he had a program at Satya Maharani Mataji. And the thing is, the program started at 5:30. I came at 6 p.m., you know, like Indian stretchable time. I said half an hour is okay, you know. And what happened was, like Maharaj, he was so angry. He says, whoever come after half an hour, they're not supposed to see in Maharaj's room. You can sit in another room and you can hear. And the thing was, that was the last time. And after that, Maharaj, like I never saw Maharaj. Maharaj left the body. So when I went to Mayapur, I literally started crying, you know. I said, Maharaj, I couldn't have you. So I went to his Samadhi temple. I started crying and I can see the mercy of a Maharaj there itself, you know. He was like a real father who was giving a love to us. And the same love I can even say whenever I see like Bharat Shrestha Shrupa Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Vinay Krishna Vista Bhutale Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Snita Cheta Supraneta Bhaginam Dasapnam Prabha Katanamni Bhakti Charu Param Namo Vishnu Vinay Krishna Vista Bhutale Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachavina Nivise Srinivati Pashatati Sadamina. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. On this auspicious day of Vyasa Puja, I offer my deepest thanks and gratitude for giving me the shelter at your lotus feet. This year, I've been reflecting more deeply on how fortunate we are and the thousands of other souls on this planet that have met you and served you personally in some small way, and how we have been benefited by your genuine guidance and teachings and instructions. Every day we get all the Guru Pranam and not really understanding the meaning of it. This year I am trying to go a bit more deeper in understanding it. The English translation is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, who is very soft-hearted and is expert in compiling devotional literature. His equivalent speaks Krishna Katha. His heart is full of mellows of devotional service, and his life and soul is Srila Prabhupada. So very deep and befitting Maharaj's character. We'll need a full class on this, but I'll just highlight just a few that I could speak on. Truly soft-hearted, and that was Maharaj, and when required, strong as a thunderbolt. Expert in compiling devotional literature. As we all know, Srila Prabhupada has given Maharaj the service of translating his books, which he originally written in English to Bengali language. Now consider this. Srila Prabhupada is expert in Bengali, so you can imagine the task that Maharaj had, and for which he had done this so expertly. He has also compiled various other literatures, and as Parashetra Prabhu mentioned, he was well known for these various literatures. Equivalently speaking, Krishna Katha. Whenever anyone hears Maharaj discourse, they automatically becomes absorbed and captivated by what Maharaj is talking about. His heart is full of mellow of devotional service. This was very evident in everything that Maharaj did. Once I was speaking with one Prabhu, Janardhan Prabhu, most of you might know him, and he himself said that at anyone that he came in association with Maharaj, be it his classes, his kirtans, his direct association, that person immediately melts in devotion. His actual words will melt in devotion. And I'm sure all of us amongst us has melted in devotion. I'm sure everyone has. His life and soul is Prabhupada. For Maharaj is Prabhupada Gata Prana. Many called Maharaj the Prabhupada man. At the very first meeting, when Srila Prabhupada met Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada requested Maharaj to give just one life to Krishna, and Maharaj followed Srila Prabhupada's word every %. Guru Maharaj, you are the epitome of Vaishnava qualities. Your ideal behavior manifests in the qualities of Srila Prabhupada. Whoever carries your association automatically glorifies Srila Prabhupada. You are just asked to follow governing managing body. And number 3, our love for you will be shown by how we cooperate with each other. Earlier, these instructions were actions in my limited experience. Due to time constraint, I'll just skip the next few parts. Guru Maharaj, your love for Srila Prabhupada is so deep and exemplary. My limited understanding cannot comprehend how you are able to perform so many wonderful services to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for blessing us to have such a kind and merciful Gurudev. Guru Maharaj, I thank you for all the mercy you have given me and for life. Your guidance has assisted me in trying to keep my spiritual life on track. I will never cause. Please also allow me to remain in the shelter of your lotus feet and serve Krishna and Prabhupada and Guru and all the devotees. Your insignificant servant, Murari Mohandas. Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Murari Prabhu. I know we are running out of time, but I think only 2 devotees are left to say their offerings. So we'll take another 10 minutes and then it will be finished. Then we can start Guru Puja. I would like to call upon His Grace Radha Vinod Prabhu. Sorry, Radha Vinod Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Charu Swami Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Giriraj Swami Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. I would like to say something that was written by my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, on the occasion of glorifying Lord Bhakti Charu Maharaj when Maharaj left. Maharaj said, "You are a very pure-hearted, loving person. Your love for Srila Prabhupada was seen in your love for the devotees and for people in general. And in how you encourage devotees to increase their engagement, take on more responsibility and become more loving, humble servants." Maharaj will always say, the more responsibility one accepts, the bigger servant of devotee one becomes. This reminded me of something Srila Prabhupada once said when a disciple came to his room in Mayapur one day and began to complain about the management. Srila Prabhupada said, "If you think you can do better, why don't you?" Somehow the disciple came out and announced that Srila Prabhupada had made him the temple commander, and he began to boss around other devotees. Some devotees complained to Srila Prabhupada that the devotee had said that Prabhupada had made him the temple commander, and now that he was giving orders at everyone. So Srila Prabhupada called for the devotee and instructed him, first you become the servant of everyone, then you become the temple commander. Thus Srila Prabhupada expressed the same idea, that the bigger position means becoming a bigger servant, and you in Parampara had that same understanding. Listening carefully to all the instructions, we can understand how closely you followed the disciplic succession. Some of your statements were very close to Srila Prabhupada's words, and some took the basic principle that Srila Prabhupada gave and sweetened them with your beautiful personal realization. You were a perfect gentleman and a Vaishnava. Once an interviewer asked Srila Prabhupada, how would I recognize a true follower of the Krishna consciousness movement by his behavior? What would his traits be? What would his outward expressions be? And Prabhupada replied, his behavior, he is a perfect gentleman. That's all. You cannot find any fault in him. That is perfect Krishna consciousness. That was you, Maharaj, a perfect gentleman. One could not any fault in you. On occasion of Maharaj's disciplineful, Sri Ramananda Rai replied, apart from separation from the devotee of Krishna, I know no unbearable happiness. Still, we try to be happy serving in separation. As Srila Prabhupada wrote to one of the disciples, please be happy in separation. I'm separated from my Guru Maharaj in 1936, but I'm always with him, so long that I work according to his direction. So we should all work together for satisfying Lord Krishna, and the feeling of separation will transform into transcendental bliss. And Maharaj, thanking His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, please look kindly upon us and guide and inspire us following in your footsteps to serve Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when we have done what you want us to do here, bring us back to you and Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Your eternal servant Giriraj Swami. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Radha Vinod Prabhu. I think I missed Geetamrita Mataji. Mataji, please come and say your offering.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, I offer you my most sincere gratitude with grateful heart for all your mercy that you have bestowed upon me. me. I've realized that everything I have materially and spiritually is by your kind mercy. Though I'm not qualified, neither do I deserve anything. In every activity of yours, you always taught us the mood of becoming an eternal disciple by displaying your unconditional, pure love for Srila Prabhupada. You worked 24/7 in pleasing Srila Prabhupada. Your love for Srila Prabhupada is unflinching. Whatever little service I do is inspired by your outstanding devotional service to Srila Prabhupada. My dear Guru Maharaj, yesterday we dedicated food for life service in your honor, cooking and serving prasadam to around 70 homeless and underprivileged souls, extending your mood of compassion. You inspire me so much in my Krishna consciousness. You have transformed my life and my heart by becoming my spiritual master and giving me shelter at your lotus feet. With having so many disciples all over the world, you remembered every little bit of service that each one of us have done. I remember that one time I made a dessert for you, which I kept on Satya Mataji's dining table. After you had taken prasadam and given a class, you walked past a room full of devotees and stopped where I was standing just to acknowledge and appreciate the small mini service that I had done. Such compassion you bestowed upon us all. Really grateful for all the mercy you have and are continuing to give me and my family. We are eternally and extremely indebted to you for all the kindness, love and mercy you have shown us. Praying to always be in the shelter of your lotus feet. Your insignificant servant, Gitamrita Devi Dasi.
Thank you, Gitamrita Mataji. We will finish in another 10 minutes for sure. I would like to read what His Holiness Bhakti Govind Swami says about Guru Maharaj. When sometimes I would tell Maharaj that I felt challenged by something, he would say that if Krishna gives his mercy, even an ant can become Brahma. And I saw he had that mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, that he did so many glorious things for our society and individual devotees. He made so many sterling first-class disciples throughout the world. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Venkat Madhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Sri Prabhupada Swami Niti Namine Namaste Nagramata Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Niti Namine Namaste. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dear Guru Maharaj, happy Vyasa Puja. I don't want to be in between the 10 minutes that Mataji has offered. I'll probably take 1 minute to glorify Guru Maharaj. There are a lot of loving memories with Guru Maharaj that have come over the years. Guru Maharaj had immense, I'm looking for words here, some days in word. Guru Maharaj has immense push towards our whole family to progress in Krishna consciousness. He's been a driving factor for our extended family as well. I remember, Guru Maharaj once in, I think it was in Chandigarh, out of a crowd of, I would say at least 5,000-7,000 people, he singled out me and Yudeshwari in the corner, and he said, "You're from Sydney," and we only met Guru Maharaj once up until that point. Only once, that was in Sydney, and that was on my birthday. So he actually singled out us, and he actually called us, offered his garland, and I was Adur, and I was just born, and out of 5,000 people, he gave us his blessings in that, and that's stuck to us. That shows the care, the affection, the love that Guru Maharaj has for every one of us. Not just, I'm not talking about me as a person or my family, but for each and every one of us. He had, if you look at his lotus eyes, that pleasure at just looking at his eyes it would mean the world to most of us. You can actually look through the eyes and you can see all the love that effulges out of his lotus eyes. It's not. I know it's not Tiruba, but it's very hard to feel not to have Guru Maharaj amongst us. But I think on this Vyasa Puja of Guru Maharaj, I think we all should take a vow that we should all work together. All of us was to never leave ISKCON and to work cohesively. So I would request all of you to do that, imbibe that.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Just now I have received an offering from His Grace Bhaja Govinda Prabhu. I will read it here. Dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine Vyasa Puja celebration. It's an honor for myself to write a Vyasa Puja offering for your divine grace. We have always been grateful and thankful for your sweet, caring nature. Whenever we see you or hear from you, it just reminds how soft and sweet personality you are. Then by your mercy, as you had been going around the globe, you came to Fiji after the departure of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in year 2002. I met you then and served you that time. I still remember how caring you have been that time towards me. When the ISKCON Suva temple was opened in September 2004, you came and you have been part of the installation. You sang such a nice bhajan and Hare Krishna Mahamantra that time. Your love to my Guru Maharaj is so intense. Your disciples are also so sweet and caring. Due to time restrictions, I can just say few words, but we can keep speaking about you. Please bless and guide us so we can also be a sincere servant to Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON the way you are serving. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, your servant Bhaja Govinda Das. Now I would like to call upon the last offering, His Grace Pranaveshwar Prabhu.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति चारु स्वामिनेति नामिने स्निग्ध चेता सुप्रणीत वाग्मिनां च रसाप्लुतं प्रभुपादागता प्राणनौमि भक्ति चारुपदं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you so much for coming in such large numbers on the auspicious occasion of the Vyasa Puja of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It was really heartening to hear from all the leaders of our yatra. It has grown leaps and bounds. It is so nice to see that His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami can bring all the leaders from various parts of Sydney together under one roof. That's exactly what Guru Maharaj did when he left his body. There were many devotees who were chanting for Guru Maharaj's well-being and his good health. Like Venkat Prabhu just mentioned, that it's very difficult not to remember Guru Maharaj's Tirubhav to Vyasa Puja. So like we can see, at that time, so many devotees from across the world, ISKCON, outside ISKCON, they were fervently praying that, that Guru Maharaj comes back. That is the power of Guru Maharaj. He brings everyone together under one roof. And today we can see that from various parts of Sydney, we have got ISKCON, North Sydney Temple devotees and the leaders. We've got ISKCON West Sydney devotees and Yatra leaders, and various parts of Sydney Yatra has come together. I just wanted to begin by quoting this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. You can chant after me. 11th canto, 20th chapter, 17th verse. Nrideham adyam sulabham sudurlabham प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम् मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितम् पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The human body, which can award all benefits in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement, this human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. This verse is quite instructive in the sense that many devotees here have been initiated or been aspiring. Many of you have not probably yet aspired for a guru. And like His Grace Ghanshyam Prabhu also mentioned in his offering, that it's a great opportunity for all of us to get inspired by the purity of a Vaishnava. Guru Maharaj used to say that to preach, two qualities are required: compassion and purity. And it's very important, like we are trying to purify ourselves coming under one roof, listening each other's offering. It's also important for all of us to recommit ourselves on this important day. All our commitments to our Guru during the time of initiation. And so some people who have not yet aspired for a Guru, please come and join the club, as they say, because it is such a wonderful journey. It fills your heart with a lot of love, and a lot of respect, and a lot of memories that are very, very pleasing memories. I heard so many offerings, and I would just like to reflect on a few of them because they just touched my heart. Like His Grace Ghanshyam Prabhu said, when I was getting initiated along with 9 other devotees, Prabhu was here and Prabhu was called to sit there. And I distinctly remember that Guru Maharaj was so caring for not just who is getting initiated, but also for the leaders, and he used to connect them. So his instruction was that you are taking initiation in this temple, you are under the shelter of this leader, and so you should come together. The leader should look after their devotees who are taking initiation, and likewise devotees who have come in the temple under the auspicious shelter of Shri Radha Gopinath, Srila Prabhupada. They should actually be subservient to the authorities. It's very, very important, that instruction. I also saw Guru Maharaj was extremely exemplary in his support to the leaders. Extremely, he never discouraged the leaders. He would always support them. Like, His Grace Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu mentioned in his offering that in Mayapur he was tapped on the shoulder by Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj would always appreciate the efforts that Prabhu would take to preach Krishna consciousness in a difficult time with his health and everything. And likewise, I've seen Guru Maharaj always appreciating and supporting the devotees wherever they were. Guru Maharaj was single-handedly known to resolve conflict within ISKCON. He has resolved conflicts across so many difficult situations in temples in Brooklyn, in France. There have been so many stories, many devotees already. So you already know. Sundaram Prabhu also, I think, mentioned that. So Guru Maharaj was known for his quality of bringing devotees together, resolving conflicts, bringing the yatra together. Because unity is the strength. When we come together, we can achieve so many different things. We can be on our path, we can expand Krishna consciousness, and for that requires that we take on different projects. But philosophically, from the heart, we should all be connected together. And that was the mood of Guru Maharaj. He wouldn't like devotees to, be disjointed at heart. We may have different views on how Krishna consciousness can be expanded, but from the heart, deep appreciation, deep respect. Guru Maharaj in one of the offerings also mentioned by one of the devotees that Guru Maharaj would never offer a bigger room. If he's staying in a place and his godbrother comes, Guru Maharaj will always offer his room to his godbrother, and he would sleep in a small room or somewhere elsewhere. And that is practically demonstrated. He would have a very humble attitude in front of his godbrothers. And just not godbrothers, but broader devotees. His Grace Bharat Prabhu also mentioned about that wonderful translation he started writing on Mahaprabhu's Leela. He wanted to create a movie, and Satya Mataji actually inspired him. And I was there, right there. And I wanted to complete that story. He did not actually leave at Radha Krishna came together in Rasa dance when Krishna left the Rasa dance, but came together, and when this conversation was going, at the end, they basically embrace each other. And that's when Guru Maharaj says that in his movie, he would show that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu evolves from that embrace. And it was so nicely demonstrated and called out. I was driving Guru Maharaj once to Newcastle, where we used to host his wonderful retreats. And at that time, I was with Guru Maharaj, and there was Satya Maharani and one more devotee from London who had come, very young devotee who had served Guru Maharaj for many years. He had actually grown in Guru Maharaj's lap. And Guru Maharaj we were driving and he got suddenly hungry. He said, I'm hungry. And we weren't carrying anything. It was just 2 hours ride. So we stopped at a petrol station and we got some cheese, some bread, some of those stuff, which we actually in the back seat, Guru Maharaj was seated, and we kind of laid it all out. We had no knife or anything of that sort, no kitchen utensils. But in that humble thing, we were just putting on the cheese, on the butter, on the bread, and we were feeding Guru Maharaj. It was so nice. At that point in time, Guru Maharaj actually completed that story. And when he completed that story, that when Radharani and Krishna embraces, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come like this, and this is my shot number 1, his eyes actually, were so bright. I can still imagine he was looking at me, and I was driving the car, and he looked at me and he completed that. And I was like I don't know where I was just transported to a different realm. Shri Krishna Prabhu also mentioned that he used to drive Guru Maharaj. I got this wonderful opportunity to drive Guru Maharaj many times. And I remember the first time I picked him up, Guru Maharaj knew everything. I have an Audi Q5. And Guru Maharaj, the first car that he bought in Germany was an Audi. And he knew so many things, I had no idea of that car. And he used to tell me, this is the technology, what is this Quattro. He would just strike a conversation to make me comfortable. It was not his job to kind of talk about engineering and Germans are like this and that, and Audi is a good car and all that kind of stuff. But he knew so many details, to the extent that once you take a parking ticket. We used to park in the valet car park, and I had the ticket. I had misplaced in some of the pockets, and Guru Maharaj came, and I was fumbling in my pockets to find the ticket because we had to drive him out. And then he seats next to me, and I start the car, and I'm kind of very nervous the first time. And then immediately leans over to me and pushes down the board that is used to protect the sunlight. And he shows me the flipper and he says, you should insert it there. And right at that point, somehow I was, poking my pockets and I got the ticket out. And he smiled. So Guru Maharaj was very, very mild, very gentle, an absolute Vaishnav. We all miss him so much. In the last 2020, some of the devotees mentioned, we got the opportunity to watch a movie together with Guru Maharaj, The Two Popes. It was released in 2019. I could see mood of Guru Maharaj was to actually perfectly demonstrate the principle of Yukta Vairagya. He used to travel first class, not even business class. And that was not to say that I want to be comfortable, that's why I'm flying first class, or flying first class is the status symbol. But he used to always reach out to very intelligent and affluent classes of the society to actually impress upon them. And that's how he sustained so many troubled projects, raised millions of dollars. Like in one of the offerings, Devamit Maharaj says that the cost was 60 million. Guru Maharaj says that that's fine, we'll raise it. So this was the mood of Guru Maharaj, a very, very big thinker. So with that, a lot of offerings from all of you. Very, very thankful that all of you came together. And my humble obeisances to Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Premanand.
Thank you, Prabhu. Now we will do Pushpanjali and Guru Puja. Before that, please accept our heartfelt thanks from all disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj for attending this Vyasa Puja event. Heartfelt thanks to all of you. And again, please don't forget to take those gifts along with you. Those gifts are for you. So take one. It's for all of you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. We are going to do Pushpanjali now. So we have devotees distributing the flowers. Please take a handful. First we'll recite a set of mantras. And as I recite them, please repeat after me. And then towards the end we'll be offering the Pushpanjali flowers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Undalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunata Anditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Saharana Lalita Shri Vishakatmitancha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Iti Namine Snigdha Cheta Supraneta Vagminamcha Rasaplutam Prabhupada Gata Prana Naumi Bhakti Charu Padam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabde Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Jhala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Apadambujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पांगोर मम मंदा मतिर्गते मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्बोज राधा मदन मोहन दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमदा श्रीमद रत्नागरा सिंहासनस्थ श्रीमद राधा श्रील गोविंद देव प्रस्ताविभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान रासा रसारंभे वंशीवटा तटस्थितः कर्षण वेणु स्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तुनः तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. We are now going to recite the Pranam Mantra of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj 3 times, and at the end of every time I'll be saying Esha Pushpanjali. You offer 1/3 of the flowers. We'll be repeating it 3 times this way. Please repeat. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami iti namine snigdha cheta supraneta vagminam cha rasaplutam prabhupada gata prana naumi bhakti charu padam esha pushpanjali samarpayami His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami iti namine snigdha cheta supraneta vagminam cha rasaplutam Prabhupada Gata Prana Naumi Bhakti Charu Padam Esha Pushpanjali Samarpayami His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami iti namine snigdha cheta supraneta vagminam cha rasaplutam prabhupada gata prana naumi bhakti charu padam esha pushpanjali samarpayami His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki Hare Krishna. Now we'll have Guru Puja.
I have to get the. Yeah, I will do it.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. संसार धारा नवनीधनोका कारण्य कारुण्य घना घना तुम भक्त सकल्यान गुणनवस वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद महाप्रभु की तन नित्य गीता वदित्र मार्गम मनसोर सेना रोमांचक चतुरंग भाजो वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद विग्रहारा गुण रूप नाम सिंगर तन्मनु दिन मार्ग नादो युक्तस्य भक्ता कुंजतोपि वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद चतुर्विदासी भगवत प्रसाद स्वधन्य प्रभु हरिभक्त संग चतुर्विदासी भगवत प्रसाद स्वधन्य प्रभु हरिभक्त संग
भरत सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नामा श्रीराधिका माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नामा प्रतिक्षणामुपस्य वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् रतिके विषेतै यायानि वीयो चिरप्रेक्षणीया रतिके विषेतै यायानि वीयो चिरप्रेक्षणीया तत्विदाक्षार अतिलोभस्य वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् साक्षात्कारित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे युक्तस्तथा तथैव चक्ति किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरौ श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् नदिगुप्तोऽपि यस्य प्रसाद भगवत प्रसाद यस्य प्रसाद नगति पुत्रति Yansuankasya yasasi sangham Yande gurauti charinaragundam Yansuankasya yasasi sangham Yande gurauti charinaragundam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Namaha Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Charu Swami Ithiravide Cheta Supraneta Vabhinanchara Saplutam Prabhupada Gata Prana Navibhakti Charutanam Cheta Cheta Supraneta Vabhinanchara Saplutam Prabhupada Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachaharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vachakvadi Chakarine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi प्रभु गौरवादि प्रचारि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चादिशकारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shira Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Leo Vishnupada Prabhu Prabhupada Shota Tarsi Jivange Savai Charnami Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Leo Vishnupada Prabhu Prabhupada Shota Tarsi Jivange Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj ki jai. अनंत वाली वैष्णव की जय, नामाचा से हरदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद हसिया द्वैत करारा श्यासुरी गौर भक्ति की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गुरु गोपी श्याम को राधा को भगवान की जय, श्री राधा गोपी भगवान की जय, श्री राधा गोपी भगवान की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुब्रमण्य की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम से जगन्नाथ धाम की जय, गंगा मई की जय, यमुना मई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, श्याम लोक भक्ति की जय, और गुरु सुसंगति, और गुरु सुसंगति। हे जगन भक्ति चारु महाराज की जय, हे जगन भक्ति चारु महाराज की जय, हे जगन भक्ति चारु महाराज की जय।
Hare Krishna, thank you everyone for coming for this Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav. Shri Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki jai. Yeah. Okay. May I request everyone to please, while going up, please go from there, take your gift and then take prasad outside. Thank you. Thank you very much.